97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, John, I told you I was going to wait till 3 o'clock yesterday to really give my opinion on the trade of Jared McCain, which took place on Wednesday.
I was waiting because the second class starts at 3:30, so I was waiting.
Sixers traded Jared McCain Wednesday to the Oklahoma City Thunder for the first-round pick through the Houston Rockets, which will most likely be in the bottom. I don't know.
It's going to be in the bottom 8 minimum.
Yeah, minimum. And then the 3 second-round picks. And again, as I mentioned,
which are just filler.
Second-round picks are used in trades all the time, and to make trades, it happens all the time. So I watched that trade happen on Wednesday. And my first thought, foolishly, was, okay, well, I imagine they use this capital that they acquired to make this team better in another area. All right, so let's unpack this. Jared McCain, fourth guard in a rotation, really not getting much playing time. The Sixers have needs in other areas. They needed another power forward. They needed maybe another backup big that is an improvement over a Dembona. Remember, they have Andre Drummond, but they don't play Drummond the same nights Embiid plays. I don't know why. That's a Nick Nurse question. Maybe we'll figure it out eventually. So
if Nick comes on the show, we'll ask him.
We'll ask him these questions. And so that move happens, and I go, all right, well, let me wait until 3 o'clock Thursday, the trade deadline, to really unpack this, because if there's another move that excites the fan base, a lot of the immediate anger that took place Wednesday would have been for naught.
You were being very fair, and I gave you credit for that. I didn't give you a standing ovation like I gave Connor.
Yeah.
But I gave you a very fair evaluation there. So now, how do you feel, Andrew, after the rug got pulled out from under you?
Absolutely pissed off, sad, disappointed. Every emotion that's not happy is what I'm feeling this morning. The Philadelphia 76ers made an unnecessary move of a young player that people fell in love with.
Yep.
A fan base that has gone through wars, battles, depression, whatever you want to say when it comes with this basketball team. Sixers fans, you have gone through it. And you fell in love with a player, and I get it. It was during a really bad year. He was the one shining light during that season.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that point out somebody's got to score on a bad basketball team, but still, you saw things to his game where you go, with a little bit more development, considering he's 21 years old, maybe this kid can turn into a piece of a contender. Maybe off the bench, a scoring punch, which is what we all expected after they drafted VJ Edgecombe, and we saw how well he paired up with Tyrese Maxey. You need to have guards coming off the bench. And Jared McCain is a guy that comes off the bench, much like Quentin Grimes, that could score for you. There was no need to trade him. If there was no secondary move made, I need Daryl Morey at his press conference today or whenever he comes on the Fanatic, because he will, whether it's with us, Middays with Marks, or Unfiltered.
I would hope so.
I need Daryl Morey to truly explain whether or not there was another move, possibly, up until the trade deadline, and maybe they just didn't get it done, and he just overlooked the situation. He did not read the room appropriately, because there is no reason that you can tell me you traded Jared McCain just to acquire future assets that nobody's going to really get excited about, assets that, for all I know, turn into nothing, because late first-round picks don't always hit. A lot of picks outside of your top half of the NBA draft don't hit. And so you traded away a player that you know has game. I'm not saying Jared McCain is Steph Curry. I saw some of that nonsense online, but I know that he can play the sport of basketball. I know that on the offensive end, he can do things that a lot of other players can't do, and he does things for you in a need that you have had for years. Scoring ability off the bench from a guard. The only other guy that I can remember in recent years was Maxey, and Doc Rivers refused to play him that much. Jared McCain fits a role right now, by the way, on a team that can't shoot the three ball very well, and I know that he can. So you traded away a kid for what? To save money? Is that what it ultimately was? I know Daryl Morey at the press conference. Who wants to make a bet? Who wants to make a wager? We'll say this move provides us with flexibility down the road.
That's exactly what he's going to say.
He's going to say it, and it's going to piss me off, because we all know what it truly was. They were able to get under the luxury tax. I read it on every single article that graded trades. I'm going to give you what people will grade the Sixers trade. Every single article said the same thing. The Sixers had a goal in mind, and it was to get under the line so they didn't have to pay the tax. If that's the case, a team that is finally healthy, a team that is playing decent basketball. I'm not saying that they're a 1 seed. I'm not saying that they're a 2 seed, but they're playing decent basketball. They're healthy for the first time in forever. There's excitement. You saw that building the other night with the 2001 Sixers being honored. You know what? That couples with excitement with your current team. That building wasn't sold out just because of the honoring of a team that played 25 years ago. It's because you're also excited to watch this current team. And you trade away a young player to save money?
Okay, here's where I'm going to tell you I'm absolutely not shocked, as I expected this yesterday. But I'm going to tell you I'm a little upset with you.
Why? What did I do now?
Because I'm going to tell you, your analysis of Jared McCain today seems much more like they lost something. Yesterday, your analysis of Jared McCain to me was like, what'd they lose in Jared McCain?
No, yesterday I was saying if it was for a move that made this team
I
better,
understand.
I was totally fine with it because Jared McCain is a guy that fell out of the rotation.
For what reason? He didn't get a shot. He did not get a legitimate shot, and it was reinforced yesterday on the debate shows of the NBA. He never got a legitimate shot under Nick Nurse. He did not get a legitimate opportunity after his injury to come back in here. Under no measure did they ever give Jared McCain a chance to go out there and make young player mistakes, adjust to it and otherwise. And there were, according to the NBA, there were other players. When Jared McCain was out there were other teams that were circling for weeks thinking the Sixers are about to give away a young asset, and we're circling like hawks. Hey, you don't want this guy? And by the way, like multiple playoff teams, you're going to give up on this guy? I just feel like yesterday, and I'm being honest with you, yesterday hearing your analysis of Jared McCain, it was like, Jared, like who's Jared McCain? What's Jared McCain going to end up being? Is he going to be... What's he going to end up being? We don't know what he's going to end up being. I'm not saying your analysis yesterday was wrong, but I hear a lot of people now doing what'd they give up? We don't know what they gave up because they gave up on him too quickly, and they did it to save money, which is a disgrace.
Well, and that's what I'm pissed off about, John. I said it yesterday. I think he's a nice player. I don't think the ceiling is as high as what a lot of other people think, right? There's a lot of people that think there's this really, really high ceiling for Jared McCain. I think part of it is because we fell in love with the individual. And we do that. We do that in this city, right? We fall in love with young players all the time, and we completely overrate them. Look at the Phillies. Like, I've been having arguments with Phillies fans for years because they see 5 seconds of a player. We talk about Andrew Painter as if anybody's watched him, right? Like, there are some people that went to Lehigh, but not many people went to Lehigh, and they talk about Andrew Painter as if he's Roy Halladay, right? Like, we don't know.
I mean, people are trying to convince me all winter long,
right,
that Andrew Painter's going to come in here and give you everything that Ranger Suarez gave you.
So I think we do that with players often, where we see some glimpses and we go, oh my God, this guy can be this. And I don't see the same this as a lot of people. But I did also have the consistent message yesterday, John, that if it was just for the tax, I would not be happy because there was no need of this. If they made this move and then eventually got an Herb Jones, a guy that can play the 4, a guy that can play, if you're going a small lineup, that can play the 5 for a little bit, a guy that can play the 3 and maybe D up multiple positions, then I go, all right, that suits this team more than what Jared McCain was doing for this basketball team. That's what I said 100 times yesterday. But the fact that it was ultimately just to get under the tax and the nonsense that Daryl Morey will spew later today saying it's to create flexibility for this upcoming, we didn't have a first-round pick this year. It's going to be to create the flexibility. It's so that maybe we can use that pick at some point this summer. That's the stuff that he's going to say, and I did not want that to happen, and that's exactly what played out, and that's why I'm angry today. Well, because it's more so a message from the front office that's not going to make anybody happy.
Well, the message from Daryl Morey today, if it is about giving up a number one, we needed a number 1 pick in this year's draft. You just gave up a guy who you told us was more valuable than the guy you're going to draft this year. A guy that your scouting department, a guy that you told us was worth the 16th pick in the draft. And you just traded him for a bag of absolute filler and like the 26th, 27th, 28th pick in the draft. It doesn't make sense. And it's all about the money.
Yeah,
the money.
That's
and
what
that
we
is,
should all be together about and disappointed about.
It's a disgrace that happened. But the idea of cutting bait on Jared McCain is so mind-numbingly stupid.
Yeah.
That they did. That they gave up on this guy. That they gave up on this roster. And here's the bottom line. This team this year, they weren't winning a title under no circumstance. So they weren't competing for a title. They weren't going to the finals. I didn't care what was going on. But that team is not as good today as it was on Wednesday morning. The roster's not as good.
Yeah, they made,
and that matters.
They made an unnecessary trade.
And you took a step backward in a year that's supposed to be like a feel-good year. Why are you getting worse?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
Remember last week, or I think it might have been 2 weeks ago, when the Kelly Oubre stuff started coming up, like they may trade Kelly Oubre just to get under the tax. And I'm like, well, he's been a big part of your success this year. Like there have been games where he led the charge offensively, especially the nights when Joel Embiid's not been on the court. Why would you do that? It's going to make your team worse. I was talking about Kelly Oubre, a guy that's bounced around the NBA for years now.
But a guy who has been a good part, as you point out, a good
start. He's been starting on this team.
Right, no, but like I was annoyed by the reports 2 weeks ago about that. You trade away an asset, to your point, to everybody's point that says we don't know who ultimately Jared McCain
because
will be.
He never got a shot to tell us.
It makes no sense. Like the only reason why they did this was to get under the tax. That is so offensive to every Sixers fan that has gone through the wars with this basketball team. It's offensive to the people that did check out but jump back in this year because there was something to jump back in about. I was one of the losers in the straitjacket that kept on watching last year. But there are people that deservedly checked out, checked back in this year, and some of them may have just checked back in the last couple of weeks. That night with the 0-1 Sixers, that was a fun night. That was a night where people may have been like, you know what? Let me start watching more. That's your message to the city?
Yeah, it's ugly.
Now, hang on real quick, because Jared McCain was not getting run with this team. He wasn't. He was barely in the rotation.
Because he didn't get a shot, yeah.
Sure, whatever the reason, the fact of the matter is the guy wasn't really playing. So if you're excited about what you're watching on the floor this year for the Sixers, Jared McCain and Eric Gordon, don't change anything about that.
Let me ask you something. What has been the biggest issue with this Sixers team over the years?
Depth.
Well, the health.
Well, yeah.
What happens if, heaven forbid, one of your two guys go down?
Quentin Grimes.
Maxey or okay. Quentin Grimes now starts. Who's coming off the bench for you?
You're gonna have to find somebody else. Like, listen.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay, but
this move does nothing for you. I was the first one to point out the rotation. That's part of the reason why I was like, okay, but what's next? That was my entire opinion when the trade happened Wednesday. Was okay. So what's the next move? What's the move that comes after this? Because there's no way you're making this move and you're done because of those reasons. Depth. What if somebody gets hurt? This is a guy that can score for you when you need it. What if Quentin Grimes gets hurt? You don't have a scoring punch off the bench when it comes to point guard. It's not just about Maxey Edgecombe. It could be about Quentin Grimes. You need people to be able to play for you if there's injuries, which, stop me if you've ever heard that before when it comes to the Sixers. When you trade him for literally nothing, you now lose all that options, all that optionality.
Yeah, it's not trading him for nothing. They didn't have a first-round pick. You wanted it by 3 p.m., the next move. We're going to talk to Keith Pompey later in the show. If this opens up a better opportunity for them to keep Quentin Grimes, this is the organization telling you we're picking Grimes over McCain. What we've seen this year says they have a right to. He's looked much better. So if they're doing that and they're turning Jared McCain into a mid-20s pick that they can get that fits the team better than having 4 guards that are redundant, if this is them saying we're not winning anything this year, we're prioritizing Quentin Grimes over Jared McCain, we're changing Jared McCain into maybe a lesser player with a better fit that will come after this season.
I'm just confused. Weren't you upset with the trade 2 days ago?
I want him on this team because I think he's a quality basketball player.
All right.
But I think he's redundant.
Yeah, but the thing is he hasn't had the chance. It's what just makes no sense is he never got the chance. There's not enough evaluation time for him to say he didn't work, that he didn't. And I don't want to hear that, well, Nick Nurse maybe saw something in practice. These guys, enough of this crap of he just doesn't fit what this coach wants to do. The organization, and by the way, Nick Nurse was part of him being picked at 16. So in other words, why do I want to worry about them having a first-round pick so they can go and misevaluate the draft again?
No. Here's the thing. They drafted Jared McCain, then they found Quentin Grimes. And what Grimes did last year was not something that existed in the Sixers realm when they drafted Jared McCain. So now he becomes redundant. That's the thing. It's not that they like Jared McCain at 16 and all of a sudden they don't. They like Grimes more.
No, it is, though. It's that if you're then shopping in the Quentin Grimes aisle, you obviously saw something where you're like, we're seeing something deficient in what we don't like about Jared McCain. We're not giving him run.
Grimes came in last year because they had a dead team and no one was available to step on the basketball court.
I understand that, but then you're letting a guy who is, does anyone, again, I'll say it to you, does anyone believe in 2 years that Grimes in the NBA is going to have the reputation of McCain?
Some people do, yes.
I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are of NBA evaluators.
Regardless of 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 5 minutes from now, the trade wasn't necessary. All right, you want to say great return for a guy that wasn't playing? Look, I mentioned that yesterday, but I thought it was going to then be used for something by the 3 o'clock deadline. It may end up being used come summertime, but Connor, you're thinking about it sometimes too logically. Like, there is an emotional reaction to a move like that from a city that has been beaten down over and over and over again by this basketball team. Every year there is some sort of nonsense, bigger than basketball drama with this basketball team. And you finally got something that people go, all right, like I like this. Like I saw one of our comments on YouTube already. Let's not overreact. He wasn't Reggie Miller 2.0. Nobody's saying that.
No one is saying that.
There are some people that are saying that. But I'm not saying that.
No, just the lunatic fringes. Nobody is saying that.
I think Jared McCain is a quality basketball player that maybe has a decent ceiling in the NBA. It may not be here. It may be somewhere else. It was just ultimately unnecessary. That move does nothing for me right now.
And again,
does nothing.
Why do I care that the Sixers are getting a far less valuable draft pick? 26 at the probably the best is far less valuable than 16. They drafted a guy at 16 that both the general manager and the head coach, who then couldn't find a way to make him usable, told you they were so excited to have him, thought he was a good fit, thought that he was going to be perfect for this organization. Why am I excited about them having a less valuable first pick in this draft?
Because the guy at 16 is very possibly blocked for the near future, and you just converted a two-way player into a guy who could start at the 4 for you at some point, Dominic Barlow. That's the thing.
They could have converted him without.
Exactly.
No, I know. I'm just saying. My point is that Dominic Barlow's getting run on this team as a guy they found basically off the street on a two-way contract. You need more wings. You have enough guards.
Yeah, but they could have there was 2 roster spots. It's not like Jared McCain was traded to convert Dominic.
You're missing what I'm saying. It's not Dominic Barlow. My point is they're playing Dominic Barlow because they need more wings. They can't play Jared McCain because they have too many guards.
What they are doing is they are undervaluing guys' opportunities that actually have pedigree and reputation and actual resumes of top programs and things like that for spare parts guys that they're getting convinced are going to be much more than they probably are. And in 2 years, I'm telling you right now, Connor, there aren't NBA executives going, yeah, man, I'd rather. The fact that Oklahoma City, and it's been said over and over, I don't know how many you can find it and how many writers saying, the fact that Sam Presti or Oklahoma and all of them that we're all circling this guy, they're going, what were the Sixers thinking? What are they thinking? What are they not seeing with this guy? Because he's going to fit. He's going to be an NBA player. Is he going to be an all-star? Who knows? Is he going to be better than NBA guys that are just guys? Yes, I think he will be. I don't understand.
I just look.
I'm so tired of this crap about the money. For a guy,
And that's what
$8
it comes
million,
down to.
he saved $8 million.
That's what it's coming down to. And I don't want to. Look, you know how much I love that freaking team. I can't let them off the hook.
Do you know how much a home playoff game garners them?
Probably right around that much.
Exactly. Like an extra home playoff game, more than that. One extra home playoff game. So if you go and you actually act aggressive, you cover the $8 million, and you get to the next round and you make more money. It's unbelievable.
Coming up next, how open is the window actually? And I'm not talking about the Sixers. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
You know, guys, if something feels off, if you're not feeling right, something just isn't right with your health, get to the doctor. And if the doctor was to tell you that there's a cancer diagnosis, I want you to talk to my doctor, Dr. John Sprandio Jr., or Dr. Sprandio Sr., or the entire team at the Consultants in Medical Oncology and Hematology. They are absolutely awesome. Him and his team are going to get you answers really, really fast. I can tell you, they're going to get you a quick consultation. They're going to get you an individualized plan that's going to be perfect for you so you know what to expect. And they have 3 great offices across the region where you're going to find like free parking, easy access. You're not talking about dealing with elevators, garages, things like that. Front door drop off. You walk right in. And when you're a cancer patient going through treatments, I can promise you that is an important thing. But because of the fact that they're an independent practice, they also give you seamless care because you can move amongst different organizations, different care programs across the country. It's awesome. You don't have to stay within one hospital's healthcare system. They're the Consultants in Medical Oncology and Hematology. They're independent, and more importantly, they're just there for you, and they gave me my life back. Visit CMOH.org. That's going to give you the first step towards peace of mind. Check them out, CMOH.org.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
No major additions for the Sixers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the trade deadline came and went without the Sixers adding a player to their roster. They followed up the trade of Jared McCain to Oklahoma City by trading Eric Gordon to the Memphis Grizzlies yesterday for a 2032 second-round pick swap and the draft rights to Justinian Jessup. Those moves got them under the luxury tax, allowing them to convert Dominic Farlow to a full contract and make other moves with the roster, but did not add for a team that is in the mix in the East. They also lost last night to the Lakers 119-115. Joel Embiid did have 35, 7, and 7. They are off tonight. The Flyers fell in overtime to the Senators 2-1 last night. They hit the Olympic break at 25, 20, and 11. Their next game is going to be on February 25th. The Eagles hired one of Jeff Statlin's replacements yesterday, bringing in Ryan Mahaffey as their run game coordinator and tight ends coach. Mahaffey was most recently Green Bay's wide receivers coach this previous season. Tim McManus talked yesterday on 97.5 The Fanatic about Jeff Statlin being offered an opportunity with the new staff.
Sean Mannion gets hired, and he's going to come in and he's going to implement an offensive scheme that's more in the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay realm. Statlin was offered a role, but it probably wouldn't have been with the same responsibilities.
And ultimately, he chose to move on. We'll keep you updated on that situation. This update's brought to you by Barbera's on the Boulevard, the hottest new SUV at the auto show. You saw it. Now buy it at Barbera. High, wide, and handsome, big, bad, bodacious, rugged Jeep Cherokee. Just $199 down. You're driving around Philly town. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, we'll get back we'll get to the Eagles here in a minute, but I just want to address something. I'm seeing our comments on our YouTube chat. Good morning, YouTube. As always, love you. We appreciate your time and everybody that's a part of the show, whether you text in or you call in or you tweet in. And all right, let's not overrate Jared McCain comments, which, again, I understand what you're saying. I don't think Jared McCain is some superstar. I also see people saying, oh, my God, why are they so upset over this? It was the unnecessary move.
They're not as good a team today as they were yesterday. And what if an injury happens? It's the NBA. The rosters aren't that large. What if an injury happens?
Well, you just said there's no way they were winning a title in any circumstance. So
you don't want to win a first-round series then? You just want to say, oh, it doesn't matter at all? No.
What's winning a first-round series do?
I want to see, with a young team, it can mean everything, Connor. You can grow. You can learn. A team can get experience. This isn't a bunch of old guys that have this isn't like a Harden group winning a first-round series. These are young players getting experience. I want to see VJ Edgecombe win a first-round series. I want to see them get some experience working together. I want to see that young backcourt work together. But if you get it, that you're not as good a team today as you were the other day. Why did you want to take a step back? It makes no sense. And more importantly, we have listeners, I guarantee you we have listeners on our text line or on our YouTube chat that have Sixers season tickets. What does it say to you?
Well,
what does it say?
Because ultimately, this is why, when people are like, why are you guys so upset? A billionaire owner wanted to save $8 million.
I mean, honestly.
Because, I can't imagine, and we'll let Daryl Morey speak for himself, I can't imagine that Daryl Morey looked at Jared McCain and said, I don't need him. Like, there's no world where I need Jared McCain. Those picks are more valuable to me than Jared McCain. I don't believe that. And I don't think as highly of Jared McCain as a lot of Sixers fans do.
And in the offseason, Jared McCain would even have more suitors.
For all we know.
And there's more trades to be made in the offseason. So Daryl Morey could make potentially even a better trade than he made the other day if you are taking advantage.
I just think there's a lot of people that are letting this salary tax thing off the hook. Like, every article that you read about the Sixers trade deadline was about getting under a tax.
The insiders
not a hard cap that you can't, or you're penalized, like you're docked draft picks, right? It's a tax. And to me, it's why I say the trade was unnecessary. At the time, I thought there was another move coming, and there was not. Now, I am intrigued if Cam Thomas were to be signed by the Sixers. I don't know what went wrong in Brooklyn. No idea.
Everything? It is Brooklyn.
I mean, look, the Nets organization's a joke. I'm guessing they tried trading him. No bites.
Nobody.
So they outright really look. He's a good player. Look, he's a scorer. And if we're talking about scoring punches off the bench, he's a guy that's a scoring punch off the bench and is more proven than a Jared McCain. But here's the deal. I can't hold my breath for buyout markets and for signing free agents and all that kind of stuff because, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, forget last season because last season was a disaster, Daryl Morey has gambled on the buyout market a lot. I've talked to Daryl Morey about the buyout market, and it has not led to what they hoped for. And that's a pre-Daryl Morey thing, too. How many times was Kyle Korver going to come here through the buyout market? How many times was Wesley Matthews going to come here through the buyout market? The guys
that was always going to be
guys that could hit threes.
That was always going to be the savior.
The Sixers were going to get these players, and then they go to other destinations that they think they had a better chance of winning championships at. I remember Robin Lopez. That was going to be the buyout market guy. Never got bought out, so the Sixers had to pivot to Willie Cauley-Stein, who was here for 10 days. So I can't hold my breath. Look, if they sign Cam Thomas, I go, all right, I'm intrigued by this. But I can't hold my breath on it. That's all I'm saying.
He is with you're talking about Thomas. He is a guy that Cleveland looked at potentially acquiring. And if you go to the Cleveland newspaper and read what because they were supposedly the ones that were linked to him.
Yeah.
They did their research on him and said, no, we're good with our locker room.
Okay.
Said he wouldn't fit with their culture or their locker room.
All right.
When I start hearing about a 24-year-old guy being bad for a team's locker room culture, I don't know that I want to insert that in to a feel-good team that has young smiles.
By the way,
the
feel-good team that they got rid of one of the feel-good players.
No, but I mean, but the guys who are still here.
Right, I got
that. I don't know that I want to insert a guy that, like the Cavaliers were like, boy, I think he averaged like 22 or 24
it's 15
points
this year, but 24 last year, 22 the year before that.
And he was just, and then there were questions this year. Was he being a little bit of a malingerer because he was being brought off the bench and he was pissed about it? So he was like, I can't go tonight.
Well, you'd be coming off the bench here.
I was not happy.
All right, we'll talk more Sixers. Don't worry, especially because they lost the most Sixers way possible yesterday. The Eagles. I went into the break, Johnny. Teasing is the championship window. How open is the championship window? Not whether it's still open, just how open. The reason why we're going to get into this is because Jeff McClain, uncovering the birds, John Kincade, Johnny Journalist, there's been a lot of whispers.
There has been.
About the future of some players in Philadelphia. So obviously Jeff Stoutland Wednesday night puts out the tweet that he will be leaving the Eagles coaching staff. And then all of the responses other than just love of Jeff Stoutland was, all right, he's not retiring. He's leaving the Eagles coaching staff. So it makes you wonder, all right, why? Is it just because of the Sean Mannion and Jeff Stoutland, their ideas don't necessarily mesh? Or is it because there's just some stuff that's going on in-house that you just don't want to deal with anymore? Just like,
a little exhausted and could be a little exhausted with the leadership.
If I want to get a job in 5 minutes, I will. Because I'm Jeff Stoutland.
Nick Sirianni taking the word of Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo saying, we're going to fix this. You go sit in the corner. We don't need your input. I think that would be my get the hell out of here moment too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because those two are, it's Moe and Curly. And to use the Three Stooges reference.
And
compared to Jeff Stoutland.
Right.
And his background and his football background, and it's crazy. But there's a lot more.
Yeah. And before anybody says, oh, you're just making this stuff up.
Oh, God, stop
Jeff Stoutland's agent.
Yes.
Told ESPN that Stoutland was upset with how things were handled.
He didn't like
there is a name associated with the report, all right? Because I know how people.
Oh yes, and we got to have quotes.
So
got to have quotes.
Then there's all right. Well, what's next? And on the show yesterday, we talked about it. What does this do for like a guy like Lane Johnson, right? Does Lane Johnson say, "Oh man, the O-line coach that I've played my entire professional career with is no longer here," and you hear how people talk about Jeff Stoutland. You'll hear from Jordan Mailata later today. We read you the tweet from Jason Kelsey. I'm sure we could have found audio from Jason Kelsey's retirement speech where he literally broke down into tears about Jeff Stoutland and the impact that he made, not just from his professional career, but also his life, right? And so you wonder, all right, well, what does this mean for Lane Johnson? So yesterday, Uncovering the Birds, the great podcast that Jeff McClain hosts, here's Jeff McClain talking about the Eagles' right tackle.
Now, in terms of Lane and his future, here's what I can say. He's definitely not sure if he's coming back or not. Is the impression that I get, and you would think that maybe this would make it a little less likely. It could take the Eagles. It could take the Eagles basically showing them how much he means to them for him to be back for another season.
So what do you think that means? Money?
Yeah, that's what I took that as.
The restructured upfront, that's what they do with Lane every year. And it's credit to Jeffrey Lurie for saying,
Jeff says, yeah, the money's
out
there.
of my pocket. Here, take this. You don't have to. You don't have to reach any incentives. You don't have to play all the games. Here's money. So that could be part
Here's
of
your
it.
Upfront money.
Yeah.
But one of the things too is that they're worried because there's a good chance he's not coming back. And that could be disastrous.
Yeah.
But then it could get worse.
And so this was a impact. I would love for this to have been more. I would love to have Jeff on to talk about it. This was a little in passing comment. You'll hear him finish something on Lane and then mention another name.
I keep leaning that he will be back for a last season. Landon Dickerson may be even more of a question mark to me.
Landon Dickerson may be even more of a question mark to me.
We've been talking about it,
Yes, we have.
and I've been saying it over and over. And look, Reuben Frank's a great writer, and does great work covering the Philadelphia Eagles. But I thought it was dirty work, to put it bluntly, that Landon Dickerson was being listed as one of the most disappointing Eagles this year.
The second most disappointing Eagle for Reuben Frank this year was Landon Dickerson.
And I've said it all along, all year long, that I think people are going to find out in the offseason. If I've said it once, I've said it 50 times.
Yeah.
That I think people are going to find out in the offseason that there were some guys that were playing through a lot of crap this year. They were really banged up. They were really hurt. And you know what they were doing? They weren't saying, we're going to take this week off. I'm gonna sit out for 3 weeks. I'm going to shut myself down. You know what they did? They said, I'm going to go out there hobbled. I'm going to go out at 50%, 60%, and give my damnedest to see the Philadelphia Eagles win football games. And if I'm one of those players, and I'm reading stuff like, wow, the most disappointing Eagles, I swear to you, I would come out and just be flying double birds. Fly, Eagles, fly, and it would be the middle fingers, saying, if you're around the team, you know how banged up I am. You can just do 10 minutes of research to know how banged up I am. I think the Landon Dickerson story is a scary one. And it's going to be hard. I'm telling you, if they were to lose Landon and Lane, man.
So, coming up next, this I don't think is a Stoutland-related issue. I think it's his own personal health. We will go.
No, it wouldn't be a Stoutland.
Yeah, we will go through the injury history of Landon Dickerson and something that he said at the end of this season. Because that's scary when they're built on their offensive line and they could lose 2 All-Pros. Also, Sixers lost the most Sixers way possible yesterday. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about my FanDuel Sportsbook app. Is that correct, Connor? Sorry, the screen is down. That's my bad. Today's 30% profit boost. I love they've been doing this. They've been doing it all week long, getting you excited for Super Bowl 60. Every single day, they've given you a 30% profit boost, whether it's been the passing game market, the rushing game market, the receiving game market. How about the first quarter market today on your FanDuel Sportsbook app? Alternate passing yards, receiving yards, rushing yards. I would look at some of the passing totals for Sam Darnold. Here's why. There's a lot of talk about how Sam Darnold sometimes has come up small in big games. Has not been the case in these playoffs. Maybe you get Sam Darnold comfortable early with some quick passes, some short intermediate passes. You have great receivers to throw to, and then it's the ground game after it. So maybe take a look at what they do with Sam Darnold early on with that Seahawks offense. All you have to do is opt in each day, place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is not profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
From the city that does
Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, 6:48 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll get to our text line here momentarily, but the concern now of Landon Dickerson and his future. You heard Jeff McClain mention it on his podcast. Johnny Journalist has been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, I sort of have been watching this one for a while.
So here's his injury history. And full disclosure, I was upset when they drafted him, not because I didn't think he was talented. I deal with enough injuries in this city. So the meniscus epidemic in the city of Philadelphia is nuts.
Yeah,
and
it's
look,
been quite a big...
he's been tremendous. 2016 at Florida State, season-ending torn ACL. 2017, season-ending ankle injury. 2020, tore his ACL in the SEC championship game. 2021 misses part of the season because he's recovering from the ACL tear. Remember, all this also includes rehab, right? The rehab process.
Sure.
The pain through the rehab process. 2023 knee injury during the NFC championship game. Last year, remember, he had the torn meniscus surgery that he had back in August. And was he ready week 1?
I think he was.
I believe so.
Remember, it was like, we were like, oh my God, this guy, like, you think you're tough? Like, this guy just got surgery a month ago and he's about to play football. And then you know that he dealt with stuff all season long. That's 26 through 2025. We're not even a decade. Multiple season-ending injuries, all of which required surgery. And you think about something that he said to E.J. Smith after this season ended, when he asked him if he would make a full recovery from the season that he went through.
Right.
And his response was, quote, "If I had that answer, I'd feel a lot better."
Correct.
That's a scary response to that question.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't blame him.
I wouldn't blame everything that Landon has been through. I would not blame him if he walked away. I would be petrified for the Eagles' future.
Absolutely.
In the short term. Because I believe they could do some things to be able to recover from it. But I believe him to be one of those guys that I don't want to use the word simple, because simple, some people take that in the wrong way. But I think he's one of those guys who has simple needs.
He's very me.
He's simple needs.
I just want to go out there, mow my lawn.
I don't like, he mows his own lawn. I think he's very happy doing his own thing.
His wife are they married yet?
Yeah, they're right.
All right. His wife put out a video like 2 or 3 days after they were eliminated from the playoffs at a Home Depot, because Landon just wanted to have a project to take his mind off of the season ending the way that it did. Like, that's a very, not I'm going to pay somebody to build this for me. It's, I need something to do to take my mind off of football. So I'm going to go to Home Depot and do a do-it-yourself project.
And that is I think that's the guy he is, and it's not shtick. If he walked away, I believe he's going to lead a very happy, wonderful life, and he'd be very happy to just be a guy. There's a lot of guys who live the life for the lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's not Landon Dickerson.
He'll also be a guy with millions of dollars in his pocket, which helps too.
Yeah, no, I get it. But there's many guys who get attached to the life.
No, I get it. Yeah.
And they're about the clubs.
Yeah.
And being public figures and being everything like that. I think you'd be more likely to bump into Landon at the Westchester Borough, or at the Home Depot, as you say, or at Lowe's,
Bouncing
than you
around.
would be at one of the clubs.
Yeah.
In fact, I would bet you're never going to bump into him at one of those.
All right. Connor, have a text ready. Sixers lose most Sixers way possible. So they trade Jared McCain, and they may have been able to have used a guy that could hit the three off the bench yesterday. Sixers lose 119-115 to the Luka-less Lakers. Luka left the game yesterday with an injury, just played 16 minutes. The Sixers, most Sixers way possible, outscored 34-28 in the third quarter. Identical score in the fourth quarter, but once again, third quarter blow up, which allows the Lakers to get back into the basketball game, take the lead, and then you're not able to come back. They do make a push late to try to win the basketball game, but sometimes when you play this game and you're always, coming from behind, sometimes you're not going to make it all the way back and win the basketball game. And so the Sixers lose. Lakers hit a slew of threes. Nobody can stop them defensively because that's been a Sixers problem this year. So lack of shooting, third quarter blow-ups, lack of perimeter defense. The most Sixers way possible to lose. All three of them took place last night. What do we got on the text line?
All right, so we'll get a check-in here. No name on this text, but they say salary dumping a 21-year-old guard with 2 years left on a rookie contract is inexcusable. There's nothing else that needs to be said about the organization.
By the way, Quentin Grimes, I like Grimes. I'm not saying I hate him. And I'm not saying, like, McCain should have played over him. 27 minutes yesterday, 4 points. Like, is he a player where you're really saying, we really don't need that guy? That guy, we don't need him. We got to get under the tax.
I swear to you.
We have Quentin Grimes.
It's all you have to do is say that go to every outlet. Because I still haven't found the one that goes, yeah, you know what? Sixers here, I see what they're doing. I like every outlet that covers the NBA is saying, what were the Sixers thinking? Well, now we know what they're thinking. Save $8 million and give up on a guy in order to be able to go get a worse draft pick for him and a bunch of filler. Bunch of empty calories.
By the way, I forgot to mention Flyers got a point yesterday.
Yeah.
They just lost another.
No, it's the Salciunas curse. Caught them again.
Ever since I talked about the shootouts.
Yeah.
At least yesterday was just OT, John.
Yeah, that was great.
I can't be blamed for yesterday.
No. It's just the curse.
Flyers fall again, 2-1 yesterday.
There
All
we
right,
go.
coming up next, what is the aftershock of Jeff Stoutland walking away from the Eagles? We already wonder and heard some things about Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson. Hear what Jordan Mailata had to say about it as a lot of the Eagles, members of the Eagles, are walking around Radio Row in Santa Clara right now, or San Francisco, wherever they're at, wherever Radio Row actually is.
It's in San Fran.
All right, you'll hear from Jordan Mailata next. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers cut at the deadline. I'm Connor Thomas, and the trade deadline came and went yesterday. Sixers did not add a player to their roster. They followed up the trade of Jared McCain to Oklahoma City by moving Eric Gordon to Memphis for a 2032 second-round pick swap and the rights to Justinian Jessup, getting them below the luxury tax, adding a little bit more roster flexibility there. It's a tough pill to swallow for fans who wanted to see a team that's in the mix in the East add. They also lost last night to the Lakers, 119-115. Joel Embiid did have 35, 7, and 7. They're off tonight. Flyers fell in overtime to the Sens, 2-1 last night. They hit the Olympic break at 25, 20, and 11. Their next game is going to be February 25th. The Eagles hired one of Jeff Stoutland's replacements yesterday, bringing in Ryan Mahaffey as their run game coordinator and tight ends coach. Mahaffey was Green Bay's wide receivers coach last season. Birds still need to add an offensive line coach. Tim McManus talked about the marginalization of Jeff Stoutland that happened that led to this walking away.
If I step back and look at it, the offense isn't working. Which coach, do I have the most faith in that he knows what he's doing? The first person I go to is Jeff Stoutland. So what ended up happening with him feeling marginalized is the exact opposite of what you needed in that moment.
We'll keep you updated as the Eagles try to move forward and find their next O-line coach. Amy Fadul joins us from the 8 o'clock hour to the end of the show. Keith Pompey joins us coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. This update's brought to you by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Nothing brings friends and family together on game day like delicious King's Hawaiian Sliders. The real MVP. Football and King's irresistible Hawaiian Sliders. There's nothing like it. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Weekdays, 7 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Big game this weekend, Johnny. So that means it's still Football Friday. Brought to us by our friends at the Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Driving to great deals at the Winter. It's been updated. The winter sales event at the Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. And get wicked good deals all month long on a Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram. Visit NorristownChryslerDodge.com. It'll be spring soon, but we updated the copy for the winter sales event for Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, who have been bringing us Football Fridays for many weeks now, and unfortunately, it's the last Football Friday in the National Football League, and we don't get to really celebrate it, and not many people are. I know there were ceremonies that took place yesterday, the award ceremonies. We will get into that today during today's headlines.
There was
with
some
Connor Thomas.
Beautiful stuff.
Yes,
last night.
A lot of great content from yesterday's award ceremony for the National Football League. So we're looking forward to getting into that. By the way, don't forget, hang out with Connor. Connor and Ray will be doing the Fanatic Super Big Game Party.
This
West
is awesome.
At Caesars Atlantic City. So it's at the West in Caesars Atlantic City. Connor and Ray, big game pregame live broadcast and watch party. Then you guys will be hanging out during the game. There's going to be a DJ, oversized games, interactive competitions, swag giveaways, and an open bar with buffet service. Register on site for a chance to win huge prizes, which include an ultimate fan cave experience at the West and even a VIP Vegas getaway. Learn more or book your experience at Caesars.com/AC. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800.
Oh, I was thinking, is that a VIP, like meet and hang out with Connor and Ray, but you don't have to have the VIP experience. Just go and hang out with them.
Yeah, we're just chilling. Come say what's up.
Are you and Ray going to battle with some oversized games and interactive competitions?
It won't be much of a battle. I'm a cooking, but we'll be partaking.
I will be rooting for Ray.
You're going to be partaking?
Yeah.
In the games.
Oh, okay.
The interactive games
Good,
and
in the
oversized
interactive
games.
games.
And then for the watch party, not for the broadcast,
Okay.
but if we're hanging out watching the game, I'm having
And you have a hotel room.
It's an open bar.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
So
open
that
bar,
works out
buffet.
well.
You got to check that out. All right, so the aftershock. Jared McCain. Let's get a couple texts because we've been chatty Cathy so far this morning. What do we got on the text line? Sixers, Eagles on the table. We'll talk more about the aftershock of the Jeff Stoutland news because more comes out from Uncovering the Birds with Jeff McClain. We're obviously reacting to that. We're wondering how open the championship window actually is for the Eagles if they start losing key players on the offensive line. Names that we haven't really talked about much because we've been so focused on A.J. Brown, the offensive coordinator, and free agents. There are players
Correct.
that are under contract that may not be back next year for other circumstances. And, of course, the Sixers not making a move before the deadline yesterday after unloading Jared McCain on Wednesday. And I am very, very upset with the organization, very angry with the organization. Not that I'm trying to call Jared McCain some superstar, but it was an unnecessary move. And it's a season where a lot of people bought in. It's a season in which your best player is finally healthy, calls out the organization last week, hey, we've been ducking the tax over the last couple of years. I really don't want to do that. And you know what they did? They did just that. And they will spin it by saying we have flexibility with future assets now with this first-round draft pick where you will try to find a player like Jared McCain.
That's what they're going to try to find to do.
What do we got on the text line?
Big Leo checks in, says, I understand McCain is a player that could be something, but I think VJ took his spot. McCain just came back up from the G League. He was never going to be a starter here, and if that's the case, what's the point of keeping a 2-year player on the bench when we needed picks that could help with a later move?
He was never going to be a starter here. Okay.
All right. So
I don't think I disagree with that assessment. Right now, the way that they seem to be heading, that's probably true.
Maxey and Edgecombe are a great duo.
And by the way, a great duo. Really, really nice.
But they can't play 40 minutes
exactly
every single night.
Exactly.
Yeah, but how many guys that are bench players in the NBA can you get a first-round pick for?
He's a bench player to you. He might not be a bench player to someone else. And that is why everybody thinks that the 76ers got robbed.
Now, he probably will be a bench player in Oklahoma City.
Well, no, but I think they're going to flip him.
What, in the offseason?
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder next year.
Sure.
I think they're going to take him, and that would have been the smart play for the Sixers this year, is to wait for the offseason. And that's one of the things that I'm going to steal a little bit when they talked about, Shams was talking about on ESPN, is not understanding why these teams would move assets when in the offseason, you probably get twice as many teams to the table.
Yeah.
Because you have so much more flexibility in the offseason than at a trade deadline. And teams that are out of the race aren't making moves at the trade deadline because they're trying to tank.
Yeah.
Where in the offseason, they're trying to promote, we're doing stuff.
Right.
We're getting better. We're doing things.
Here's why. Because when you go through the rest of the season and the guy doesn't play a lick, and then you go and try and get a first-round pick for him in the offseason, they're like, yo, he rotted on your bench this year.
That does not, no one of anybody who covers the NBA is saying that about Jared McCain as far as this trade.
What do you mean?
They are not saying that about Jared. They're saying that Jared McCain was given away by the Sixers, that the Sixers got robbed in this deal.
Right. I'm saying if he doesn't play and doesn't play well the rest of the season, then his value goes down.
He wasn't playing now.
No, he wasn't playing that.
Exactly. And the longer that goes, the less his value is.
No, they don't believe that, though. They don't believe that that's going to be the case. But they don't. Connor, I'm going to take Shams and those guys that they know a little more than the people they're talking to.
They're not gospel. I'm entitled to my opinion, John, just because you read something.
I know you are. It's not read something. These are guys who cover the NBA 24/7, and I think that they know when they're talking to teams what the guy's value is.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you I disagree. Leagues misvalue players all the time. Sam Darnold's playing in a damn Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, a guy that you misvalued.
Exactly.
Yes, but the thing is, you're not going to say, you're not telling what his value is.
Right, but you can't just use the trump card of the league says this, so this is how it is. I have the right to disagree with their
What you're saying is what he's going to be valued at in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And his value is going to be in 6 to 8 weeks. His value isn't dropping off the face of the earth in 6 to 8 weeks.
Let me ask you a question. Connor.
It makes no sense.
I want your honest answer on this one. Do you believe that the trade was for the best interest of the Philadelphia 76ers roster today and moving forward, or do you think it was to get under the tax?
It depends who you ask.
Do you?
I asked you.
No, I know. Let me explain where they're at. This is a nuanced situation. It's not just a yes or a no. I think Daryl Morey made a trade that he believes is allowing him to go get a wing in the draft next year that fits better with this roster. I think Josh Harris gave the mandate to get below the luxury tax, and he's trying to be cheap. I think both things can be true.
Do you? He asked you.
I think it's better to have a player that can play on this team than Jared McCain, who I believe is blocked.
So you think it was a good move?
I think.
Yesterday you thought it was a bad move.
You were upset with it yesterday.
Yesterday you thought it was a bad move. Now you think it's a good move.
I'm upset with giving up on the player. I like the player. That can be fair. I want to see Jared McCain play basketball for my team. It's like the Logan O'Hoppe thing. Like, I liked Logan O'Hoppe. I think he's a good baseball player. Didn't have a good year last year. But I understand why they moved him because JT's here. Sometimes you got guys blocked and you got to move on from players you like.
Your
so
words,
today you like
your words. Hate this. Especially because the Thunder were the ones that were willing to give the Sixers a first for him. Feels like way too early to give up on a guy.
Absolutely. I think it's too early to give up on the player in a vacuum.
So do you think it was a move that benefited the Sixers, or do you think it was a move to benefit the pocket?
I think it opens up opportunities for them to bring in a wing player. I also think the reason that they made this move in the first place is because of the luxury tax. I think the ownership said...
Yeah, and that's despicable.
That's awful.
Because they could have done something during the offseason and
that
not
would be
worry
more
about
beneficial.
and not worry. I don't even know about beneficial.
Well,
I'm just saying,
more teams are at the table in the offseason.
Sure.
Probably twice as many.
I'm just saying the stink of the luxury tax thing is there, and that can't be denied because every single reporter mentions the luxury tax when it came to their analysis of the Sixers trade. What do we got on the text line?
All right, we also have a check-in here from Devin Glassboro, who brings up the conversation about the first-round series win that we mentioned earlier. And he says, I don't find McCain the difference between a first-round series win at all. Come on, this doesn't make a difference to that point.
I said if there was an injury. I didn't say Jared McCain is the difference between a first-round. I said, what if there was an injury and you're trying to win a first-round series? Could Jared McCain help you win a first-round series if there's an injury? I think he could. Absolutely think he could. And obviously teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder think he could.
Yeah, here's the thing. What's the injury that would make Jared McCain play? That means Maxey or Edgecombe are going down. And if those guys go down, he's not helping you win a first-round series.
Yeah, again, you trade him to trade him. That's what
the bottom line. You gave away a guy that you didn't have to give away. You gave away a talent that you didn't have to.
And it's not the first. So look, Again, him being blocked. How many times did I say yesterday? I get it. I talked about it 100 times. He's not a big part of the rotation. But there are times where you don't have to move a guy just to move a guy. I'll go to the example because you know me. Yesterday I was telling you there have been other players that we have fallen in love with that ended up doing nothing once they left here. But there are also moments where you go, wow, I can't believe they gave up on that guy. And Isaiah Joe is a prime example. Isaiah Joe, according to the Sixers, at the time Doc Rivers was the head coach, they could not find a place for him to play. They tried playing him in a different position. They tried making him a point guard, which was never going to work.
Wasn't going to work.
They then realized, in our situation, Isaiah Joe doesn't fit with this basketball team. Their opinion, just like how you're saying your opinion versus the people that cover the league's opinion. Their opinion was Isaiah Joe does not work with this basketball team. My opinion is you can find a way to get a shooter on the court. They trade Isaiah Joe for literally nothing. And he goes to the NBA Finals champions, Oklahoma City Thunder, and he's a 40% three-point shooter. And that's a move where, at the time with the Sixers, they didn't need him, in their opinion, but they gave up on a guy.
Right. And we brought that up yesterday, and I totally understand Sixers fans looking at that move and comparing it to this one. The big difference to me is this wasn't a coach mandate, I don't think. This was more organization. Like the Isaiah Joe thing. Tell me if you guys disagree. Felt like Doc Rivers isn't playing this guy, doesn't want him, get rid of him.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Well, doesn't play him, which is
which is exactly what Nick Nurse. But I think you're fair about that. That I think that's the way that Doc Rivers it felt.
Yeah, and I don't think this is Nick Nurse went to Daryl Morey and said, "Get this guy." Like, I'm not going to play this guy, right? So if I'm thinking this is a Morey move, and I've seen him stick with Maxey into what he's developed, done a good job of evaluating young talent with drafting. Maybe I trust them more with this one than the Isaiah Joe let go that was led by a coach who we didn't really like here.
Wasn't Daryl Morey here with Isaiah Joe?
Again, that's what I'm saying. I think that was Doc Rivers led. I think this feels more collaborative.
I'm going to just say, at what point do we start to say, what is the plan for, like, do we just trust that Daryl Morey's making the right calls? Is Daryl Morey making the right decisions?
He's going to explain himself today. What time's press conference? 12?
12 o'clock.
Let me check.
12 o'clock. So
12 o'clock.
Middays with Marks.
I mean,
make sure you're listening at 12.
Can't wait to hear, because it's about time. There have to be some answers.
Yeah. All right. Obviously, still picking up the pieces. Jeff Stoutland as well from the other day, making his decision to walk away from the Eagles. We questioned what could the future be for Lane Johnson. Here was Jeff McCain uncovering the birds. Tremendous podcast as always. Here he was talking about Lane Johnson.
Now, in terms of Lane and his future, here's what I can say. He's definitely not sure if he's coming back or not. Is the impression that I get, and you would think that maybe this would make it a little less likely. It could take the Eagles. It could take the Eagles basically, showing them how much he means to them for him to be back for another season.
So you're hoping that he's back for another season because you want to have, first off, him the talent, him the leader, all those things about Lane Johnson.
Sure.
Especially when you're coming off of a year with turmoil and drama, and you don't want to start the season by not having your potential Hall of Fame right tackle. The reason why I say potential is because of the steroids, in case people forget.
And by the way, he has said he does not belong in the Hall of Fame.
But, we know that talent-wise,
he belongs in the Hall
of Fame right tackle. And then Jeff McCain furthers it by saying this.
I keep leaning that he will be back for a last season. Landon Dickerson may be even more of a question mark to me.
Landon Dickerson may be even more of a question mark to me. After suffering more injuries this year, even though he didn't, go down for an extended period of time and needed surgery, we all knew he wasn't right. We all knew he wasn't himself.
I shared it before, and I'll share it again. When I saw the other day that it was Landon Dickerson was the second most disappointing, I can tell you that reverberated through some people, that commentary. Because Landon Dickerson, if he's the second most disappointing player, Landon would have been better just saying, you know what, I'm going to take a month off. I'm going to rest my injuries. I'm not going to play. I'll wait till I'm 100. I'll wait till I'm 80%. But to be labeled as a disappointing player because you're fighting through injuries and you're doing everything you can to be out there for your teammates. Landon Dickerson's teammates in the organization know exactly what he played through this year.
Yeah.
And what he sacrificed to be on that field. And to me, it's sort of dirty work that he's listed as a disappointing player.
And so those are two players
really bad.
that we have to legitimately think could not be here next year. I'm hoping, look, from a Eagles fan and talent standpoint, that they're both back.
What are you thinking, though? Are you talking about the idea that maybe after a little bit, like another few weeks away,
yeah, like I think
maybe cooler heads?
I think Lane Johnson doesn't want to end the season, his career, the way that his season ended.
Correct.
By not playing.
Oh, yeah, of course he wouldn't.
So
with the competitor
I think
that he is.
But again, would you blame him if he said, I don't want to rehab again for another season? At his age, no. Landon Dickerson.
How about trying to do it, though, without Stout also?
Well, and that's another big key part of this conversation. Jordan Mailata yesterday, I don't know who the hosts were. He's at Radio Row. This wasn't ESPN affiliate, but I think it was.
They were Australian.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no, it was Australia.
So some sort of Australian.
And he was with the
ESPN
Dancing with the Stars
ties.
guy, the Robert Irwin's kid.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
He was with Robert Irwin's son.
So here's Jordan Mailata with, I guess, ESPN Australia, talking about when he found out that Jeff Stoutland was walking away.
Man, I'll be honest, I'm really glad that I've been busy because I haven't had time to process it. I think I was pretty fortunate to get a call from him to tell me before the news broke. And as soon as he told me, I was walking in downtown San Fran, I was just crying. I got to have my glasses on. And I was just crying on the phone. And then, again, thank God I had something else to go to, another media event. And that's why I'm pretty grateful to be here right now. It's a welcome distraction because, I'm really sad, man. Everyone keeps asking me, why haven't you said anything online yet? And to be honest, I just don't know what to say because we don't know what to say without crying.
So nobody thinks that Jordan Mailata is walking away because of this, right? Like nobody thinks that. But the reason why playing that is important, you hear how much Jeff Stoutland means to him. We read you what Jason Kelsey had to say. You know that Lane Johnson thinks the world of Jeff Stoutland, even though he hasn't taken to social media yet, probably because it's the same as Jordan Mailata.
No, I think he doesn't want to answer questions about himself.
Well, and that's another big one.
Whereas Jordan is definitely going to come back.
So yesterday when we had DeCecco in, I asked him, and we talked about it in our own personal lives too. Like, we've all had a boss at one point where you're like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't really like this all that much. And you're part of an offensive line that became a cult, right? Cultish.
No, it did.
Like, what other city loves the offensive line as much as the city of Philadelphia loves the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles?
And the Eagles' offensive line known across the league, where every offensive lineman pretty much on the Eagles was a known commodity and a known name.
And all of them talk about Jeff Stoutland as if Jeff Stoutland said, drink this Kool-Aid, they would, right? Like, they love that man.
It does.
And so if you're on the fence about another year, the Jeff Stoutland news could be something that sways an individual into a direction that means not playing for the Eagles anymore. And that could suck. And that's something that I don't know was factored in when Nick Sirianni first made this decision to lean into Kevin Patullo and their offensive ideas more so than continuing to work with Jeff Stoutland during the season.
The Kevin Patullo decision has, and I said it the other day, has so many domino. It's like a game of dominoes. There's so many things that are just, and the one domino that falls, the Stoutland thing. I was led to believe yesterday that any depiction that the offensive lineman would in any way be okay with, oh, yeah, Stoutland going, we're fine with it. Yeah, it's fine. We were butting heads this year. I was led to believe yesterday that anyone who knows that offensive lineman room, all they do is butt heads.
Yeah.
That's sort of their creative process, is that Stoutland's a guy who welcomes a creative process where somebody's saying, let's have a give and
Yeah.
take. Supposedly their film sessions are get very animated, get very give and take.
Sure.
So I don't believe that anybody is saying, man, yeah. You know what? We were with Patullo. Yeah, we were lining up with
I don't think many
Patullo on
people
this.
side
There
with
was
it.
nobody in that offensive lineman's room that was going, yeah, we're agreeing with Patullo here, and we're with Patullo. We're not with Stoutland. These were Stoutland guys, clear Stoutland guys.
WP on our YouTube chat, crying. WTF? If you don't want to be here, leave.
What?
Oh, tough guy.
I know, I love that.
Are you kidding me?
Come on, man. Nobody's saying that Jordan Mailata doesn't want to be here. He's upset that a guy that literally made him,
That he loves.
made his life.
Yes, because Jordan.
The
Jordan
guy's a rugby player
There's a practice squatter that got taught the game from the ground up,
whose life changed with
Yeah.
millions and millions and millions of dollars thanks to a man.
who's appreciative of it.
Yeah, so I think that's a beautiful
He doesn't
sentiment.
say he doesn't want to be here.
Real men don't cry.
Go tell Jordan Mailata that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
While
go. Hey, stop crying.
While he crushes your head with his fingers.
I love
My
it.
gosh.
I love it. All right,
I
coming
think it's a
up,
beautiful thing.
coming up next. John is wondering why we have so many false messages about Philadelphia sports. I already know the answers, Johnny.
I think it's interesting. I can't wait to hear.
I'll let you set it all up, but I know the answers, baby. It's
I love
Kincade
it.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, if this is the time when you're finally going to pop the question, time is running out. On Benari's annual bridal bash, it only runs through tomorrow. So you got to get in there. Engagement rings, wedding bands. You can get 12 months financing on engagement rings and wedding bands, and something exciting for you, your chance to win $1,000. So I've been telling you about Benari's bridal bash for a couple weeks now. You only got till tomorrow to take advantage of it. This is how Benari is the area's bridal experts. They're the diamond experts, and they're going to make sure that she gets exactly the ring she wants in exactly the setting she wants. Does she want white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, platinum? Whatever you need, they've got it, and she's going to be pleased. You can even design her perfect engagement ring that's going to look different than all her friends' rings. Look, our own Brendan Gunn did it. I brought him over there, introduced him to the crew at Benari and Exton, and Benari and Newtown Square we went into, but they're also in Exton. And I let him do his thing. He's got the little eye monocle out, picked her out a perfect diamond, designed a ring, and then gave her the perfect ring of her dreams. You can do the same, but you can only do it through tomorrow. There are two locations, Exton and Newtown Square. They're both great, and they're both going to have you covered. During the Benari's Bridal Bash, your chance to win $1,000 too. Get on in, 12 months financing available for you based on approval. Benari's Bridal Bash through tomorrow. Check it out, Exton and Newtown Square. Tell them John Kincade sent you in.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A Sixers salary dump. I'm Connor Thomas, and that's what the trade deadline turned into for the Philadelphia 76ers, not adding a player to their roster ahead of the deadline. They followed up the trade of Jared McCain to Oklahoma City for draft picks by trading Eric Gordon to Memphis for a 2032 second-round pick swap and the rights to Justinian Jessup. These moves got him under the luxury tax, which does add flexibility for the future, but for a team in the mix in the East, tough pill to swallow for fans who wanted to see them add. They also lost last night to the Lakers 119-115. Joel Embiid at 35-7-7. They're off tonight, but Daryl Morey will meet with the media at noon to talk about the deadline. Flyers lost in overtime 2-1 to the Senators. They hit the Olympic break. Their next game will be February 25th. Eagles hired one of Jeff Stoutland's replacements yesterday. Ryan Mahaffey is their run game coordinator and tight ends coach. He was most recently Green Bay's wide receivers coach. Tim McMahon talked about Jeff Stoutland and the departure from the organization.
Sean Mannion gets hired, and he's going to come in and he's going to implement an offensive scheme that's more in the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay realm. Stoutland was offered a role, but it probably wouldn't have been with the same responsibilities.
I'm sure we'll learn more about the background to that move in the coming days. We'll keep you updated. Amy Fadul joins the guys for the 8 o'clock hour to the end of the show. Keith Pompey at 9:05. This update's brought to you by NJM Insurance. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
7 a.m. hours brought to you by the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the Bet Parks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, before Johnny sets up the false messages that seem to come around Philadelphia sports, a couple of things. Amy Fadul, it's a Friday. Fridays with Fadul. Amy joins us.
Love it.
From 8 to 10 today. Ask Me Amy thing. Now with production. Now with an open and a bed.
What? And a bed? What, does she need a nap? Well, these West Coast games.
Maybe.
She had late night
You're
last
right.
night.
Maybe.
She could need a nap.
So start texting in your questions now. Ask Me Amy thing. Questions for Amy Fadul can be sports related, can be life related. We prefer the life related ones. 610-632.
She's all about life.
0975. Yes, she is. Also, so yesterday, I don't know if people, for the PA people out there, you may not have even known that this was going on. Really sad story in Jersey, and I want to point it out because I know you have family members that are firefighters,
yes.
And so this could hit home to you, and anybody that appreciates people that are there for us.
You mean people that their lives are about making sure that we're safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those people. First
Yesterday,
responders,
yesterday we lost 61-year-old Howard Bennett, who was a member of the Camden Fire Department. He was working on their boat that they have, near the Sixers facility,
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff, the waterfront. And unfortunately, he fell off the boat and fell through the ice, and they could not get his body. They eventually did 30 minutes later, but of course he tragically passed away in a story that you're like, wow, I can't believe this happened. Yesterday when I was driving home, I took Coop to the auto show, and we're driving home, and I'm driving down Route 42 and Route 55, and I'm like, what is all this? Every overpass above 42 and 55 had fire trucks and police cars and ambulances. Some fire trucks had gigantic American flags hanging off the top of their ladders. And I'm wondering what is this about? And it's a sad but beautiful story. He passes away yesterday, and they actually, I believe it was an ambulance. They put him in an ambulance and drove him up and down Route 42 and 55, and it was basically a funeral procession for this man that passed away yesterday.
That's amazing.
In the line of duty, and it's something where you go, damn, that is a community, like the firefighters and police officers that I don't think get enough respect. But the fact that they came together like that to honor somebody, it was, I'm driving. I'm wondering, what is this? And then finally, I text a few people, and you do a couple of Google searches, and that sad story. So our hearts go out to Howard Bennett and his family and everybody that serves to protect us one way or another, and we appreciate everybody that does that. So sorry to bring down the mood.
No, well said.
I just want to point that out because
that's well said.
It's a really beautiful story and sad story, tragic story, but a beautiful story in our own backyard. All right, Johnny, tell us about some of the false messages that we're getting from Philadelphia sports.
It is, and I was getting it. Let's put it this way: I was getting it yesterday from some people about some of the stuff. Just people following my Twitter feed and stuff like that, and I just started to think about some of the false messaging. And in fact, one of my students was saying to me that there's a lot of false messaging because some of my students were saying, we got into a discussion about, do you need, because a quote for something to be true?
Sure.
In a story. So I have journalism students saying, you were getting into a debate about, does A.J. Brown asking for a trade when 7 between national and local media people have reported that A.J. Brown demanded a trade.
Right.
7. That, do you need a quote from A.J. Brown? Because my students are asking, you're debating it with people saying, what's the protocol? You do not need a quote. There's nothing false about that. You've got people who aren't journalists who are saying, that's not true. It's not true. There's no quotes. There's no attribution. No. When 7 credible journalists say that, if it was not true, A.J. Brown or the Eagles would gladly tell you, and they have many times in the past, would gladly tell you something's not true. So then they got into, I said, the false narratives we got to worry about are the stuff we're told that never gets checked. Like, just give me back my damn trophy.
Yes.
Like the Sixers saying, we need to get younger and more athletic. I found that 3 times. I found that 3 times from the past 2 years.
Of the people that run the team.
Yes. We need to get younger and more athletic. So get rid of Jared McCain. Just give me my damn trophy back. Oh, as long as it fits within the hypothetical budget that we've set. And sign a bunch of old guys to long-term deals and keep doubling down on that strategy that gives you zero flexibility to a business model that has not worked. And then one of my students brings up, well, if the umpire makes a different call, maybe we beat the Dodgers and we have a parade. And I'm like, the kids see it. And I said, you know what, guys? Those are the bigger false messaging things that you have to worry about. And it says, maybe if you ignore, if somebody says to you, maybe if the umpire makes a different call, we win the World Series. Well, maybe if you ignore all the poor base running decisions, all the poor fielding, all the batting failures, and the question from media students at Temple is, why do we have so much false messaging in Philly sports?
It's easy.
Now, the funny thing is, I didn't find an easy answer for them, so I'm thrilled to hear you have an easy one because now I'm going to feel dumb.
I would love to say that sports is 100% about winning, right? Like, if you own a professional team, I would love to think that sports is 100% about winning, but it's not. It's about making money.
It is.
And if you have good PR, you may make more money. Come see this team. Even though deep down you may not believe in them, man, we got BOGO night.
Oh, yeah.
So, when Dave Dombrowski...
Or we have the 2001 Sixers coming back.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, to me, a little...
things like that.
That's an honor, yeah, and that's an honoring thing.
And it's nostalgia,
right.
though.
But, for Dave Dombrowski to say, the one call that we all saw, right? We all saw the pitch that was not called a strike. That definitely impacted that
he's
inning.
right.
Right.
It was a terrible.
It's not something that you can't disagree with. Now, you can point out everything else that went on in that series.
Trey Turner can't
has for years.
Trey Turner can't make a routine throw to the plate.
Right.
That would have kept the game 4-0.
But you can't disagree with what Dave Dombrowski said. By the way, you literally can't because there's a box that tells you if it was the right call or not.
There you go.
So you say that, and it's the positive PR spin. We see it all the time. Mark my words. At some point this May, there will be a Jeremy Fowler or an Ian Rappaport or somebody that covers the NFL nationally, a Shefty, that will say, by the way, the Eagles are really expecting this person to take a lead. We've talked about it on the show. I talked about there was the Nolan Smith when the Hassan Reddick situation was going down 2 years ago, and nobody wanted him traded. There was the out-of-nowhere Ian Rappaport tweet. And by the way, people inside NovaCare really are expecting Nolan Smith to take a big step. And then that gets retweeted by every Eagles fan that's excited about a young kid, and they go, you know what? Yeah, we don't need that Hassan Reddick guy. We have Nolan Smith. So sports is not just about winning. It's about positive PR, and it's about trying to get butts in seats still. Like that you know it. And so to me, when you ask that question, it took me 5 seconds to have that answer.
I'm angry.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate.
No, I'm angry. No, I'm angry because it's, and I'm not saying simple because I'm downgrading your answer. It's simplistic in its answer. I don't want to believe that's the answer. So maybe I don't want to believe it. So when they're asking me, I don't want to believe that's the answer.
We're doing the best we can to try to win.
But
All
they're
right,
not.
You know what?
But they're not.
I got to buy the tickets, and I got to watch every night because they're doing the best that they can to try to win.
Like, give me my damn trophy back is one of the biggest. It's maybe the second biggest lie to no one likes us, we don't care. That if I'm making up the liars list, that's one of them, because it is just and it's interesting to hear young Philly sports fans' perspective that want to enter the media, hearing what they say, and they were very much in the just some ideas that they were having, just this exchange of ideas, and these young people are big sports fans, and these are the ones that they think of, and I can't tell you how out they are in the Phillies. I can't tell you how angry, how out they are, how much more positive on the Sixers' chances to make this into something that they can buy into. Much more confidence that the Eagles, no matter what crap gets thrown up against the wall, that the Eagles have the wherewithal and the smarts and everything to fix it.
Now, look, if you ask your students 1 year from now, after Andrew Painter goes 10-5 with a 3.3 ERA and Justin Crawford hits 270,
and maybe Aiden Miller comes up and shows them something, that could be different.
It's a totally different conversation.
But what you're
next year.
selling this year,
there's nothing to sell.
There's nothing to sell. And these kids are like, how do you do this?
It's all about positive PR, baby.
You know what? I'm actually pissed at you.
Thank you.
But I give you credit because I don't want to believe it's that simple an answer. But sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer.
When Dave Dombrowski tells you we're a good club, we won 96 games.
We're a good club.
That's all you need to know.
And again, teams that spend that much money average 93 wins. Only once have the Phillies exceeded 93 wins spending that much money. So they haven't overachieved at all, except this year in the regular season.
All right, coming up next, today's headlines with one of the all-time "What did I just read?" stories. The Olympics never shy to disappoint or get you intrigued. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, it's all about live betting. It is on the BetParks app, and you know what's happening. The big game is this weekend, and your bets on the big game could win you season tickets. The big game season ticket giveaway is live at BetParks. All new and existing BetParks customers are going to get one entry for a chance to win season tickets for every $25 bet they make on the big game. They got you covered for the big game. Seattle, a 4.5-point favorite against New England. Your big game wagers earn you entries for a chance to win season tickets to the Birds. You could win season tickets to the Birds by just placing every $25 bet gets you one entry. Total of 50 BetParks users across all states are going to be randomly drawn to receive BetParks bonus bets. And one grand prize winner is going to receive season tickets. 2027, by the way. Terms and conditions apply. See betparks.com for details. You got to be 21 and located in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan. I love the folks at BetParks. And if you can't get out to the BetParks, the Go Parks Casino, which is always a great time, be a part of the big game season ticket giveaway from BetParks. Got to be 21. Should you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
No hot take.
7:47 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic. We have my phone flying out of my pockets.
Oh, it was out of your pocket.
Yeah, just flew. Fridays with Fadul starts at 8 o'clock. Today's headlines with Connor Thomas here in a minute. Real quick, so again, the Jared McCain trade, I wanted to wait till the trade deadline to really give a reaction because I was wondering, all right, maybe they're going to add to this team in areas where I think they need to be added. I still don't.
How'd that go for you?
Well, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They did move on from Eric Gordon, though, to get even further below the tax.
Yeah, got to save that cash.
Joel Embiid in 39 minutes last night, 35 points, 7 boards, 7 assists.
That's a nice night.
Sixers lose by 4 because of Dembona, who I don't think highly of. In 11 minutes was a minus 17.
They exploited. Now I just watched highlights, but they exploited.
He's very raw.
Yes.
He makes a lot of mistakes on the defensive end, which, by the way, that's all he's supposed to be doing at this point. Nobody's acting like a Dembona is some scorer. So I still don't understand and we'll talk to Amy about it, why Embiid plays, that means Drummond doesn't. That's a Nick Nurse question, but we'll ask Amy about it. There are players that are better than a Dembona.
There better be.
And
better
I thought, foolishly, that the trade for McCain would have then been used to package to get something to back up Embiid, which, by the way, it's been the same story for 10 years now. That they can't find a backup that's not going to kill you when he goes on the court. And last night, a Dembona killed you when he was on the court.
Oh, he killed you, all right.
All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
And it's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. The Winter Olympics are right around the corner. The Flyers just hit their Olympic break last night, playing their final game, and everybody's gearing up for the chance to watch their country compete. Some folks gearing up more than others. We have our first scandal of the Winter Olympics, and it has to deal with these ski jumpers. If you've been on social media or any type of internet, you've probably seen what's going on here.
Have you not seen this, John?
No, I've not.
Oh, dude, I can't wait for your... I'm turning my mic off.
All right. Olympic ski jumpers are being investigated for... they're injecting acid into their, we'll say, Lane Johnsons to make sure that when they're tailored for their suits... there's a little more room in the crotch area. That way they get more air, they stay in the air longer, and that is not allowed. So they are injecting acid to make sure they have a little more room and fly further.
Your thoughts? How did you not see this?
I did not see it. I'm sorry. I was teaching yesterday and wasn't on the device last night. Are you kidding me?
They're de-doping, bro.
No, but I mean, that can't be... As someone who's had testicular cancer, I can't imagine that that's something that is healthy.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
To be putting chemicals in that area? Like, has anyone spoken out about it, like, as far as stay away from doing this?
I believe Dr. Avidan Appel says I've got a better opportunity for you.
Well, Dr. Avidan Appel can make sure that, I mean, I understand he makes sure that he makes sure the text line's up all day long.
Dr. Avidan Appel is doing the opposite.
He's making sure that it's,
he wants
you're
there
not
to be,
having any room.
He wants there to be growth. Whereas this story is diminishing.
Dr. Avidan Appel makes sure.
Oh, it's growing.
They're making it larger by injecting acid to make sure that they have more room. It pushes out the suit when it's tailored.
Yes.
And then more surface area to stay in the air longer. How bad do you want to win an Olympic medal, boys?
No.
John, your thoughts?
No, that's crazy. Okay, that's really crazy. You know what's funny is I saw the headline for this, but I didn't know what it was about.
Where'd they get the needles from? Johnson & Johnson?
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I like that one.
Thank you very
much. They probably
all the
do,
crap you give me about my puns.
Thank you very much for that.
That was
one.
an all right one.
So
all right, I'll sit back down now.
That's actually, I sort of like. That's the crazy story, and those people are playing with fire. By the way, that's real. That's not good.
I imagine when they have to use the restroom, they are literally playing with fire. But we'll be watching the Olympics to see how much that scandal takes over.
You watching a lot?
Dude, the ski jump is actually a fascinating.
It is. But are you watching a lot?
I would poop myself.
I would absolutely poop myself.
These guys and gals, they fly.
But you're not a skier.
No.
And Connor, you're not a skier.
I can still be impressed.
See, now I was a skier, but I do not do black diamonds. I've only done little cut-throughs of black diamonds, and I will go as much side to side as I possibly can. Scares me to death.
Yeah.
So I never have been the ski jumpers. That's nuts.
Well, you just need a little acid where the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
You'll be just okay.
Yeah, believe me.
All right, we'll move on to what's going on in football now because we had the yearly awards banquet last night in the NFL and an absolute shocker for Coach of the Year. Little known name taking home the award.
The 2025 AP Coach of the Year is Mike Verba.
Congratulations to Mike Verbal
That's Tiffany Haddish did that.
on his Coach of
Come
the
on,
Year
Tiffany.
win.
Mike Verbal.
She's an actress. For God's sakes. She was in Uncle Drew. I mean, like,
was in a lot of
I
things.
understand, but like, how do you not read your lines before going out there?
Well, she's allegedly only seeing it when they first go out there.
You know who the finalists are.
Oh, yeah, I
So
got
you need to know every name. I've done these awards things before. You need to know every name, and you go, oh my gosh, I need to know. Okay, who could I get? And then you sweat and say, oh, I hope this person doesn't
Mike
win.
Verbal,
Yeah,
baby.
that's a big time. I thought Vrabel had a chance, but Verbal coming in and taking the win
Sounds
out
like
of nowhere.
gerbil.
So it didn't go great there with that announcement. Something.
Well, there was a worse one.
yeah,
You can find
Go
it.
ahead.
No.
Oh.
You can't play it.
No.
No, you
I
can't
thought you were
play
going to
it.
announce the award.
There
No,
was
no,
a
no,
much
no.
worse
Yeah,
one.
no, that is a much
There
worse
was a much worse
I'm sorry. I didn't know that's where you're going.
Exactly.
Do you have the MVP?
Yes, we are going to talk about that as well. So Matthew Stafford won
meant- yeah,
the
sorry.
MVP. Drake May came in second by a total of one first-place vote. And where was that loose vote potentially given to? Justin Herbert, who somehow received a vote for MVP. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
So Sam Monson did come out publicly saying he was the one that did it. I think you said it best, John, on Twitter this morning.
Uh-huh.
It was 100% to
Look
get
at
it,
me,
to get
look
it,
at me.
to get attention.
Yes. Here's my column of why I did this.
Look, last year when Josh Allen won the MVP, I said, look, if we're taking it at its surface, Joe Burrow should get votes because when he did not play, they lost every game. When he did play, they won whatever amount of games. But if I was a voter, I still wouldn't have voted for Joe Burrow because that's just not how it works. There was no need to vote for Justin Herbert. Like, that's embarrassing.
Justin Herbert? Honestly? Come on.
Josh Allen got 2 votes too, by the way, which you understand.
I don't.
Because
Not
he,
this year, I don't.
quote unquote, carried his team because he had no weapons. But like,
Carried a team to what?
look, here's what we should do. Stop overthinking things. We all knew it was Stafford or May, right? Like, it's like the Hall of Fame thing. Are you a Hall of Famer, yes or no? What the league should do is narrow it down to 2 people and then do a final vote. Who are you voting for between these 2 people?
Ultimately, I do think the right guy won.
Yeah, I think so too.
So,
but the fact that
no
it was
harm, no
by
foul.
1 vote and 3 votes were spent, 2 on Josh Allen and 1 on Justin Herbert. Both players, by the way, very look at me, I'm overthinking this. Yeah, it's horrible. All right, good job, Connor. Coming up next, Amy Fadul joins us. Fridays with Fadul. By the way, also an update in the baseball betting scandal.
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you guys that next, but we also have to talk to Amy about her reaction to the trade of Jared McCain and then the no move thereafter. And, of course, all the news with the Eagles or rumors and reports that scare the hell out of us. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers moved McCain and Gordon. I'm Connor Thomas. And the trade deadline came and went yesterday. Sixers did not add a player. They moved on from a couple. We already know Jared McCain going to Oklahoma City. Eric Gordon was traded to Memphis for a 2032 second-round pick swap yesterday. So these moves get the Sixers under the luxury tax and potentially opens them up for more flexibility in the future. But for a team that some fans believe could be in the mix in an open Eastern Conference, a little bit of a disappointing one. Daryl Morey will talk to the media at noon. He's got a press conference today. The Sixers lost to the Lakers 119-115 last night. Flyers fell in overtime to the Senators 2-1 last night. They hit the Olympic break. Their next game is going to be February 25th. The Eagles hired one of Jeff Stoutland's replacements yesterday, bringing in Ryan Mahaffey as their run game coordinator and tight ends coach. Mahaffey was Green Bay's wide receivers coach last season. Tim McManus talked about the Jeff Stoutland story earlier.
If I step back and look at it, the offense isn't working. Which coach do I have the most faith in that he knows what he's doing? The first person I go to is Jeff Stout. So what ended up happening with him feeling marginalized is the exact opposite of what you needed in that moment.
Plenty more coming out on that story with Jeff Stoutland. We'll keep you updated as more news breaks. Amy Fadul joins the guys next. This update's brought to you by Apple Vacations. Save up to 40% on spring break and summer vacations during the family travel sale. Plus, kids stay free at select resorts when you book by February 26th. Visit applevacations.com to learn more. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic.
.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 8 a.m. on this, Football Friday for some. Football Fridays on the Fanatic, presented to us by our friends at the Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, driving to great deals at the winter sales event at Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and get wicked good deals all month long on a Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram. Visit norristownchryslerdodge.com. Not just a football Friday, but also a Friday with Fadul. Amy, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
We will obviously talk about the trade of Jared McCain and then the nothing burger thereafter. But one thing just to mention, it's okay that you didn't have it in headlines, Connor, but I just wanted to update people on the gambling stuff with Emmanuel Clase. Remember that story broke where he was throwing balls on purpose, throwing strikes on purpose.
Yeah.
First pitch. Because he said, all right, I can still get out of the inning. I can still get the job done. I just have to,
just alter it a little bit.
Airmail this first pitch. Emmanuel Clase was suspected in at least 48 games of throwing specific pitches.
Lord.
48.
When anything like this comes out, you go immediately to the internet because the internet has the best sleuths out there.
Oh, yeah.
And they saw all these, like, the body language when he would throw one that he thought it was going to be a ball and it was called for a strike. And he, like, the crescendo of, like, oh, no.
He struck out a player and screamed the F word
which is great.
2 years ago.
And I remember thinking, what did people think at the time? They probably thought maybe he was injured or what. Because in what world would that be an acceptable expression? Like, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's
no,
nuts.
that's actually your job. Okay.
And look, who knows? There's probably more stories that we will find out as the years
I guarantee
go
you we
on.
will.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't going away anytime soon. All right, Amy. So the Sixers make the trade of Jared McCain. I heard you on with Unfiltered later that day. I think you and I had a very similar feeling. Like, all right, this is a guy that sort of fell out of the rotation for Nick Nurse. So they were looking to maybe get something for a guy. But my reaction was, before I give my ultimate opinion on it, I got to see what they do come 3 o'clock the following day, the NBA trade deadline. Because I'm tired of watching a Dembona back up Joel Embiid, and I'm tired of whenever Joel Embiid's out, the duo of Andre Drummond and a Dembona. I think maybe a backup big could have helped them out a little bit, and you won't have minus 17 in 11 minutes and lose basketball games to the Lakers in the most Sixers way possible because the third quarter sucked and they couldn't defend the wing and the perimeter. Sixers lose last night because of all these things.
You're telling her?
I was there.
You were watching it.
I was there.
Then they never made the trade, and there's even more reaction. So curious, your overall opinion from the trade the moment it happened to the trade deadline the following day.
Listen, in the media, you're not supposed to, you're just kind of writing everything. You're unbiased and everything that comes with that. But I think a lot of people are bummed out. You're bummed out. Jared McCain had one. He's a great person to cover and to watch play. But you just thought, did they sell a little low on a guy that is still coming back from injury? But the way that this team has been constructed, he has lost his spot in that rotation, and it's not through anything he's done. It's just the circumstances. It's the way that they play. It's the way that he's played when he's gotten out there. He's not been able to really showcase what he can do. I'm always worried trading with a team like the Thunder.
Exactly.
It's like when Danny Ainge was running the Celtics. If Danny Ainge called me and I hang up immediately.
Yeah. It's like
and
Howie?
I reevaluate myself.
Like Howie in the NFL?
A little bit, yeah. Like I feel like it's a little bit more aggravated or magnified in the NBA because of the limited number of roster spots. But yeah, to the same degree, like if Howie's calling, like, oh, is this guy? Whoa, what I need to really reevaluate this guy.
Yeah.
Is this guy actually really good? But there's no surprise because I think that Jared McCain's going to be a tremendous player and he will regain that form that we saw last year. They didn't have a first round pick. They got one. Yay. It's going to be in the 20s, but they have one. And that's something that was important. They did not have one. And I think that there was a lot of thought that, okay, now you finally have that first round pick in 3 seconds. Let's turn it into something else. And then when that didn't come, I think I was just still. So that's why I kept waiting for the completeness of the trade. And so it was disappointing, but I understood it. And then I thought, there's more, right? There's more.
But I
still think there will
be.
Yeah, they'll have to do something as far as on the buyout market and see who they can get. Everybody loves the buyout market.
How long do we expect that to drag on?
I mean, not that long.
Yeah, as soon as a guy's bought out, they're going to get picked up pretty quickly.
Yeah, this will all be within the next couple of days because they have to sign their contracts. If you were traded, you have to sign your contract or sign that paperwork within a couple of days. So it's not like you can sit out there unless you sit out or something. Sure. But I don't think a lot of the guys that are going to be on that market are the ones that are going to like, no way.
But the buyout market that has not really worked for the Sixers in recent years. You and I were talking about it during the commercial break. We talked about it earlier in the show. It is my understanding that there have been multiple times where Daryl Morey, and even pre-Daryl Morey, the Sixers gambled on, well, this guy's going to be available. We think we can land him. Names like Wesley Matthews always come to mind. He was like a 15-time Philadelphia 76er without ever playing for the Philadelphia 76ers. Kyle Korver was going to come back 5 times, never did. Enes Kanter was a name that was brought up a lot. Robin Lopez, the year we are going to get Robin Lopez on the buyout market, and then there was trades for a first-round pick. And you're like, all right, so if they're asking for a first-round pick for him, they're not going to just let him.
He's not getting bought out.
Yeah. And so there's been a feeling of buyout markets going to work, and then you either come away with nothing or Willie Cauley-Stein. And that's been the Sixers the last couple of years.
I think that they're going to go after a wing or a guard, in my opinion. I think that they are fine with the backup center role. And I know that makes all of us nervous, including me, just because we've all seen it. But right now you're not seeing it. I mean, Joel Embiid is playing the best basketball he's played in 3 years. And I think that's where we're all waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I guess like I have to put on some different colored glasses because I'm tired of feeling that way. I think that they just need a little bit more scoring at the wing position.
Yeah.
Or another guard. I mean, you're thin at guard. You have three viable guards.
Is there, though, here's what I'm hopeful for, is the players who are in the buyout market where they have passed on the Sixers before as being that's a place I'd like to go.
Marcus Smart isn't available, so no.
No, but I think they're looking at
Scary Terry.
They're looking at Joel Embiid this year and saying it's viable.
Yeah.
Whereas I believe in previous years they looked at Embiid and said not viable because of his health, or looked at the situation and thought, I don't necessarily believe with the recipe they've got cooking. This is a pretty positive-looking stew they've got.
It's a positive-looking team. It's a positive-looking resume. You do worry about any kind of chemistry, but I think if you brought in a veteran guy, that wouldn't be the problem. And then you think how the East is now stacked up. And the Cavaliers, with the experiment with James Harden, how that's going to kind of formulate whatever they do the rest of the season. There's only one basketball out there, but I'll be interested to see how that's going to work for them. The East is open. Yes, the Pistons are the cream of the crop right now, but I don't look at any team in the East and think, oh, there's no way the Sixers couldn't take them.
There's no thunder in the East.
Exactly. There's no thunder in the East. So for me, they're good. There's some good teams. The Knicks are a good team, but the Sixers have gone into New York twice and taken them down. So I think that the way that every move has to be of just about enhancing this, and John, you're right, like there is a lot of positivity surrounding the way Joel Embiid is playing right now. And I don't know if we said that in November or even December, if you think about it.
Or how many Februaries have we said it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I started to say it.
the MVP year we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably the year before that too, and maybe a little bit even after because he dropped 70 in that one game, and you're thinking, and the guy says he's 75% and dropped 70 points. My goodness gracious! Even the other day, 40 points against the Pelicans, and he's like, I didn't have that good of a game. I'm like, I appreciate that you think that, but you just dropped 40 points, fella.
I think part of the anger, like to me, I'm angry because I look at this team. To John's point, the Eastern Conference, your point, it's open, and I would like to give my team the best shot possible.
Yeah, and that's what Joel Embiid had said. Like,
right,
hey,
and so
set us up for success.
The way this is perceived is why there's so much anger and vitriol toward the Sixers. So let's think about it. We've been kicked down and kicked out in the face numerous times by this organization. Sometimes not their own fault, right? Injuries are it sucks. Sometimes not their own fault, but we've been kicked down a lot by this organization. Last year sucked. Sucked. You had one player from a horrific season where you're like, all right, I like this guy. And then you go into this season and you're finally healthy. You're playing good basketball. And the best player on your team calls out the organization a week ago and says, I feel like the last couple of years we've been ducking the tax. And the trade that they made got them under the tax. And it was a player that a lot of people fell in love with. And then they didn't do anything else to better the team. Like, you can't tell me that the Sixers are better on Friday, February 6th.
They're not.
Than where they were
on
earlier this week on
February
the 4th. Like, nobody
better.
can tell me they're a better team. So you basically did exactly what Joel Embiid said not to do. I understand the first-round pick and flexibility and all that kind of stuff. But everything that we have dealt with for a decade, I'm not even talking about the last year, for a decade, and this is what you do to the city of Philadelphia?
The only counter I will say is I think you found two good pieces last year. I think Quentin Grimes really showed you that he is a viable guy. He hasn't been as consistent. But Jared McCain was a real bright spot at the beginning of that season. I mean, he was on pace for the Rookie of the Year. He was the front runner for the first month and a half of the season.
And he's also
can't use him,
young, and
this coach can't use him.
But I will counter this. I watched him in the G League game. His shot is not back, and it has not been back.
I got you.
And his confidence has not been back. And when you have this role of a guy coming off the bench, and he didn't have to come off the bench last year.
Right.
He played more. But now you're coming off the bench. You have to be a microwave scorer. That's your role.
How can I ask you though? And I'm stealing this a little bit from NBA Today. How do you get your shot back?
I mean, obviously, there's different ways. A lot of guys you talk to, they'll talk about they play these low minute games to try to get those in there. Just getting out there and being aggressive, and I think you saw some glimpses of that.
Yeah.
So if your shots don't go down, you get free throws, and then you can at least see that kind of rhythm. But when you're out there and you're out there for 15 minutes and you go 1 for 8 or 0 for 4, That's really tough. That's tough when the Sixers are in these tight third quarters. And last night it was the fourth quarter. I mean, Lakers started the fourth quarter on a 21-6 run, and it was like all of a sudden Sixers look up and like, okay, you have to be that guy. And I don't know how each player is going to have to work on it, but you have to be much more of a microwave scorer. And I just don't know that they were going to give him the runway to do that in the season.
And they didn't. But I understand. Well, you're making a good point as to why they didn't. But he never got the shot to.
Yeah,
I don't believe enough.
When he got his chances, it was tough. I mean, honestly, I think the reason they're in that position is because VJ Edgecombe turned in to be the guy that we're seeing right now, which is a real win if you think about it.
Absolutely.
That is actually the real plus side of this. The downside is that a guy that you showed in a lot of promise is not able to get on the court as much because your dynamic rookie actually turned out to be the dynamic rookie you expected when you drafted him third.
I did not hate the trade the moment it happened.
Right.
I hated when 3 o'clock hit the next
and there was
day.
nothing else.
And I went, wait a minute. So they really did. And I know Daryl Morey will say in his press conference today at 12 o'clock, I imagine you're going to be down there today, will say at some point this was to give us flexibility.
I guarantee
in the upcoming draft and for other options.
Yeah, I think they're going to want to try to sign some of the guys, maybe a Quentin Grimes if he, is going to be out there. That's a relationship. It'll be interesting to see because it did not
wasn't pretty this
did
offseason.
not have a good offseason.
No, it wasn't pretty.
So you'll have to see on that, but it'll be one of those things that I felt immediately I was disappointed. I was disappointed for Jared McCain. I was disappointed for the Philadelphia fans because he really liked it here and the players. I mean, I'm sure you guys heard Tyrese Maxey talk about it. We had him in the pregame, the shoot around. That hurt. I mean, that hurt. And it's one of those things, I think that he knows it. They all know it's a business, but that was the first. And I think the telling thing was for Maxey was like, that was his first kind of like vet rookie relationship.
Yeah.
Even though he was 24 at the time.
And as a team leader.
Yeah, as a
He's
Tyrese
now
Maxey being a vet last year as a 24-year-old guy, which is wild to say, but he had been 5 years in the league. Here's a guy that's coming on. It was his backcourt make because of the way that everything was shook out. And the guy was starting.
Yeah.
He was playing some good minutes, and he averaged 15 points in 20-something games. And there was that streak of him having those 20-point games. So I think that there was a lot of, ownership's not the right word, but that leadership quality. So it was a tough one.
It's also a horrible message to your team.
Yeah, if you don't get going right away, you're out.
Like think about it. Like Embiid literally said last week, I think the last couple of years we've been ducking the tax. And 1 week later, you make a trade.
I can't believe it.
And you get under the tax.
Yep. And then, I don't know.
And that's it.
I'll be interested to see if Morey says that they tried to swing on something and it didn't come to be.
Even so, you misread the room.
Yeah.
Because I did a reaction video yesterday saying, I wonder if Daryl Morey will say just that. But, if that's the case, then you misread the room. Then you made a trade that ultimately was a gamble. And it's like, well, then, you couldn't have waited until the offseason.
I'm going to tell you, if you want to be sort of pissed, too, but you probably don't want to on this Friday, go read what Daryl Morey had to say, what Nick Nurse had to say, and everything about Jared McCain when they drafted him. And what they thought he was, what they thought he could be, and everything. And
well, don't do that.
Well, is he that much of a disappointment? Did he get that much of a chance?
I don't think he was. I don't think he's a disappointment. I just think that the circumstances outweighed what they could see from him. I don't think that anybody's going to look at it. I think they both think this is a tremendous player, but we don't have the time right now. If I had to guess, he was running out of runway.
When I hear that they don't have the time, though, that sounds like a team that's close to doing something. Is that unfair?
Yeah.
Like when I hear terms like that,
well, I'm
hearing a team knocking on the door.
Well, a team that believes that they have a certain amount of window with this squad right now.
Is that because of Embiid, you think, and George? Okay. And maybe that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I wonder how much also the Paul George situation coming out of completely left field for a team that was rolling, that's really going to adjust how you have to react. And Dominic Barlow obviously stepping up, that's great. And I'm glad that he got his contract converted because it had to be because he was at the limit. But it's one of those things of like, how much did the PG situation also play into the fact that you're trying to swing for something and maybe misread what the value of those picks would be out there on the market? I'm not entirely sure. I'm interested to hear what he said, what he's going to say at noon. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's disappointing, but I understand it for Jared McCain. I understand, John, what you're saying. It's like do you feel like your championship window is now, and that's why you couldn't give the kid, a little bit more time? I think the way that they play these guards is also one of those reasons. I mean, they're all 35-minute guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Quentin Grimes is the 30-minute guy, and you have two starters that are like 37
I was
to
just
40.
hoping that they made another move. That was.
What did you want them to get, though? Because I wanted a wing, but now I was like, well, maybe you need another guard.
Well, now you.
Now you do, right?
Now you need both.
Look, I was hoping for a guy that could play the 4, that could I don't know if Herb Jones is available. That's just a name that everybody talks about. But a player of that magnitude that could play defense, could play multiple positions defensively, kind of like what Barlow does for you.
Yeah.
It's just to me it ended up being unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get you on this, but I just want you to explain a little bit further because ahead of the deadline, you did say, I hope the Sixers do nothing. So how does this fit in with that mentality?
I didn't want them to do anything, but when they traded Jared McCain,
Then it was.
I said, okay, then this must be setting up something else. I didn't want them to trade Jared McCain. I thought the trade happened to then set something else up, and it never did.
Oh, it hasn't yet.
Well, you
For
can't
this
set anything up for the buyout
deadline,
market.
because you're right. I wanted it to be a quiet deadline because I didn't want them to trade for a Giannis because I wanted them to continue to grow with the youth. Who is a part of that youth, Connor?
Jared McCain? Well,
They traded him
was.
for ultimately nothing for this year. For this year, it was nothing.
Did you all see, by the way, and I did not, and I thank one of our listeners, Ian, for sharing it with us. Did you see Giannis's comment?
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, I mean, I watched the whole Doc Rivers press
No,
conference.
his comment from yesterday.
I did.
Legends don't chase, they attract.
Stop it.
Yeah.
He says legends don't chase, so it's clear he wasn't looking to be traded.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that. Let me tell you about a bridge.
You
in
don't
Brooklyn.
think he wants to be? You don't think he wants to try to attract players?
I think he's tried.
I think a trade didn't happen, and it's all right. There was a lot of stuff about me wanting to leave. Let me put out a tweet.
I got married here. I love
And,
Milwaukee. It's my favorite place of all
you
time.
don't believe you believe he just says, "Get me out at the end of the year."
I believe he said, "We've tried your way. It's not working. I'm out."
So you do believe he's saying, "I'm out at the end of the year."
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I think that was a
I feel like he was definitely looking
back to
out
the PR.
there.
Back to the PR stuff that we talked about earlier. I think that was a very much. What do you mean, guy? I never wanted to leave.
No, I love it
Well, no,
here.
is that look? It appears that Doc was leading you to believe that he didn't. That his conversations with Giannis is he didn't want to go. That there were insiders saying, it was windy, and it was last Saturday.
His agent was saying otherwise.
But last Saturday, Windy was going, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, and his mom's posting pictures of him at the Heat Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
I think a lot of that was.
I think he was just trying. Listen, this is the first time you ever heard about Giannis even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Really, in the last
He's
year,
been a good soldier.
he's been a guy. He's in there in Milwaukee. They won a championship. He's an MVP, a multi-time MVP. They've attracted some players at times, but it's a tough place to attract. And I think that this was the first year. I think that he didn't know exactly how to do it.
John, just saying, Joel Embiid always wanted to play for Team USA. Remember?
Well, no, that's because he got turned down in the document.
Well, what
that
I'm
he gave
saying
France.
is, he always wanted to play there. If AJ Brown comes back, there will be I never wanted to leave.
Oh, I never
love it
wanted to
here.
leave.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's
Listen, I'm not faulting Giannis. I get it.
Yeah.
You're with the Bucks. You have it's
you have
not
a
a
fan
great.
base that you want to continue to love you.
You love that. You also thought about, hey, maybe the grass might be a little greener somewhere else.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, Amy, we got to talk about all the Eagles stuff that's been going on
Oh my
this
goodness
week.
gracious! It's like a soap opera,
Just
John.
another day.
is.
It's just
Loves-
another day in Philadelphia.
It is. It's good.
Your thoughts on Stoutland and what could also come with Jeff Stoutland leaving. We'll play some of the audio for you from Jeff McClain's podcast. Also, I'm worried about John Kincade. But I'm also,
John McCain is
John
already
McCain.
passed.
But I'm also worried about a lot of Eagles fans as well. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
It's all about the live betting on the Bet Parks app, and you got the big game this weekend. 4.5 points is the spread. Now I'm going to tell you, if you want to get some winners, I've been giving you the winners all year long. We'll have our picks later on in the show, so you can get in on the big game this weekend. There's so many different ways to wager on the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app. Plus, what's really, really fun is you could win season tickets to the Birds. I'm not kidding you. Yes, you could win season tickets. If you place a $25 bet, you get an entry. Every $25 bet on the big game gives you a chance to win Birds tickets. Terms and conditions apply. See betparks.com. A total of 50 BetParks users across all states will be randomly drawn to receive BetParks bonus bets, and one grand prize winner is going to receive season tickets. It's so much fun. Your chance to see the birds with your season tickets. The BetParks online sportsbook app has got you covered for the big game. Again, Seattle, 4.5-point favorites against New England. I'll have my picks later. I think I've got some winners for you. I want you to get involved. You got to be 21, located in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan. Should you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A not-so-busy trade deadline. I'm Connor Thomas, and the deadline came and went in the NBA yesterday without the Sixers adding a player to the roster. They followed up the trade of Jared McCain to Oklahoma City for draft picks by trading Eric Gordon to Memphis for a 2032 second-round pick swap. These moves got them under the luxury tax, and it allows them a little bit more flexibility going forward. Daryl Morey will meet with the media at noon, talk about that, and also justify how a team in the mix in the East can sell this to the fan base. Very intriguing press conference here. They also lost last night to the Lakers, 119-115. Joel Embiid had 35, 7, and 7. They're off tonight. Flyers fell in overtime to the Senators, 2-1 last night. They hit the Olympic break. Their next game will be February 25th. Eagles hired one of Jeff Stoutland's replacements yesterday, bringing in Ryan Mahaffey as their run game coordinator and tight ends coach. Mahaffey most recently with the Green Bay Packers. They still need to hire an offensive line coach. And Tim McMahon has talked about, well, what happened with Jeff Stoutland and what led to this.
Sean Mannion gets hired, and he's going to come in and he's going to implement an offensive scheme that's more in the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay realm. Stoutland was offered a role, but it probably wouldn't have been with the same responsibilities.
We'll keep you updated as more information comes out. Amy remains with the guys. Keith Pompey joins them coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. This update's brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Get a full synthetic oil change for just $74.99, plus earn $7 towards your next service with Duramax dollars at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer ends February 28th. See store for details. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
It is 8:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, a couple of things to unpack before we get to the Stoutland stuff, and then I'm worried about John Kincade, but I'm also worried about a lot of Eagles fans. But this will be a mentality question for a lot of people. So it's an Open Your Heart Friday. Shout out Lindsey Vonn for being just a freaking beast.
Love it.
Not sure if a lot of you have been following the story of Lindsey Vonn. She tore her ACL in like just a practice run last week. Then there's videos of her doing like squats in the cast.
Do not understand.
I don't
also amazing that
understand
she was back because this was quite the comeback to even be in the Alpine again. Yeah,
she's incredible.
She just completed her Olympic training run.
I don't understand.
I'm watching
I know.
the video.
I watched it
flawlessly. The bend.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
the
imagine
thing.
you need your ACL intact for that.
Seems important. The knees in that particular event.
She's incredible.
You know, we got long jump skiers.
Oh gosh,
doing things.
We were watching that. I was like, that's not natural.
Meanwhile, she's doing that just
That's not natural. Is that what you said?
out of grit. Like she's a mucker and a grinder.
I am not a big fan. Like I'm not going to be one of those fake Olympic fans. I'm not a big Olympic fan, but I am a big Lindsey Vonn fan.
Yeah, I mean
she is incredible. She's incredible.
Philly in our YouTube chat. She's incredible, but she's also insane. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Correct.
Lindsay, you are a very decorated.
Yeah.
You could if she said, I'm done.
She wanted because it didn't end well in the last Olympics, and so she wanted. I mean, she's 41 years of age.
Yeah,
and she came back.
I don't know
she's very
how.
decorated. Like she's had an incredible career.
Are you guys real Olympic fans, or are you?
I'm like locked in. I love the Olympics.
So you're locked in.
I'm locked in on every Olympics. Winter, summer.
Every day. So every
I will be
night,
watching
every
some kind
night
of
you'll
event.
Watch something.
Especially like the winter ones. There's some of those obscure events.
The ones with the skiing shooting.
And the skiing, and then all of a sudden I'm like dropping down and I'm taking a target out.
It's long. It's not
fascinating.
Skiing downhill. It's like
it's cross country.
Yeah, and then they have to stop and
rifle. It's
rifle.
amazing.
And I'm like, how do you get into this?
Well,
how does this?
I mean, we know how you get into it, but
you were a fan of one thing and a fan of another thing, and you went, wait a minute. There's
know
a
what I can
sport
do
for both
because I am in a snow place. I need to do this in order to go to my target.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
the last thing I want to do is be in a race with somebody where the person behind me has a gun.
Yeah, that's
the truth.
That's terrifying.
You're not allowed to
But
take people out.
So the Winter Olympics has a little bit more of the obscure things like that.
Yeah.
There's enough of that around. But no, I every day I will watch at least 2 or 3 Olympic events.
It's fun.
Okay, so you're one of those people then.
I like
you.
the Olympics.
That's good.
It's always something on.
Like, I'll watch. Like I'll seek out hockey, big matchups in the hockey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah.
And
Basketball
I'll watch.
during the
and I'll
Summer
watch
Olympics.
some of the downhill skiing.
Skiing's great. Figure skating,
But
I
I'm
enjoy.
not gonna, like. But
curling.
I like the downhill. What is it? The slalom.
Slalom, yeah.
I'll watch
Giant
that.
slalom.
So that's about it.
I'm a big bobsled guy.
Right.
Bobsled,
Bobsled's
skeleton.
awesome. Yeah, all these things are great. I love it. All right. So let's play the Jeff McClain clip. Jeff McClain on his podcast, Uncovering the Birds. Here he is talking about the potential of Lane Johnson's retirement.
Now, in terms of Lane and his future, here's what I can say. He's definitely not sure if he's coming back or not. Is the impression that I get, and you would think that maybe this would make it a little less likely. It could take, the Eagles. It could take the Eagles basically, showing them how much he means to them for him to be back for another season.
And then he eventually talked about Landon Dickerson and had this to say.
I keep leaning that he will be back for a last season. Landon Dickerson may be even more of a question mark to me.
The first person he was talking about was Lane Johnson. He leans to him coming back. Landon Dickerson, bigger question mark. So, Amy, all of this coming out after the decision by Jeff Stoutland to leave the Philadelphia Eagles as a coach, not retire from football, which is very key, but to leave. And so you've read the reports. You saw the report from Tim McManus, sources, but also Jeff Stoutland's agent, named to the source, so you can't do the whole...
Oh, wait a minute. Is there a quote? Is there a quote?
What do you make of Jeff Stoutland leaving and then the ripple effect of what it could lead to, like a Lane Johnson deciding, you know what, I'm out?
Yeah, I think for the first part of when we were here about a week ago, a little over a week ago, before they had made the Mannion hire, because it was a week ago they made that Mannion hire, a little over a week ago. I think it was Thursday of last week, right? So one of the things we talked about was, why is it taking so long? What is going on with this search? And a lot of the talk had been because they have a run game coordinator, and a coordinator for the offense is going to maybe have his own guy, maybe not be super jazzed. I don't think that we thought at the time that that was going to be an if or type of situation. It was just going to be like, okay, well, you're going to hire this young guy, and he's going to be okay with your current run game coordinator, given the fact that he is Jeff Stoutland, so well respected by the team, by pretty much everybody out there, as the offensive line coach and the run coordinator. So me, it was surprising. And then I thought about it. I was like, of course the guy wants his own guy. And then you see who they hire, whatever else. So I think that is one of those that's going to resonate in like a lead balloon right now. It is a tough one. To say he's well respected I don't need to say it. Everyone knows that. So this was a tough one to see. And I thought, gosh, that's not going to be good. This is a guy that's coming in that doesn't have any kind of track record. And you just basically led to the departure of one of the most revered coaches in Eagles history. Stoutland University, we talk about it as if it's, you get a diploma. Jordan Mailata credits his entire career. Jason Kelsey credits everything he's done. Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson. I mean, you're going through pretty much, these guys are all Hall of Famers in Lane Johnson's case. And then I think at the end of a season, especially a season that went the way it did, I always am like a little bit reluctant to put too much credence when players say, like, I don't know if I'm going to come back, because I get it. And I say that from talking to players who have done that.
Sure.
Jason Kelsey, we all remember how he was 2 different times towards the end.
Yeah.
And then obviously he ended up doing it. I remember the first time I had that conversation with Jonathan Ogden in Baltimore, and he just thought it was a really rough year. That's a Hall of Famer right there. It was a really rough year. I don't know if I can come back. I'm like, I mean, you're at 11 years in. You don't think like one more year? He's like, I just don't know. It's hard because those guys just had a really tough year. So I think they all take time. Landon Dickerson, I get it. It was a really rough year for him. A guy that had a lot of expectations put on him. Lane Johnson, I'm like, the fact we're living on like extra time. He has been playing exceptionally well for a guy that has dealt with a lot of really tough injuries.
I think I'm going to speak confidently to say that Juergens and Dickerson both could have made the decision to shut themselves down this year. And they chose to play through injury. And then they are getting critiqued by some in the media saying they were the most disappointing players of the team this year. And that's got to also suck, because it would be real easy for them to say, you know what, next time I think I should just shut it down.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing through every bit that I could, because there was no other options. There were no other options to step in and play for them if that team was going to be able. And they're trying to repeat as Super Bowl champions, but they're being labeled as disappointments. I can understand that being part of the frustration too. And then Stout's not coming back. That plays into it.
And part of the reason why Stoutland's not come back is not just because of Sean Mannion.
The head coach.
It started.
Yeah.
It started in season. And so, Johnny, I'm worried about you.
Okay.
I'm also worried about people on the opposite spectrum of you when it comes to this Eagles team. So you sent me an email. John sends me some of his topics that he wants to get into. I'm never going to get over that a chance at a quote-unquote run may be totally derailed by the bros.
Yes.
Sirianni and Patullo.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Now, the thing is, you're not thinking of your grandchildren yet. I do. I think if one day, I had lunch with my daughter yesterday, and I'm thinking one day I'll be Pop-Up, I'll be Grandpa, whatever they decide to call me. And I'm going to tell them, I'm going to teach, my daughter's love of the Eagles came from me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she'll pass on the love of the Eagles too, but it's going to come from her grandfather, if I have a grandson, granddaughter. And I'm going to tell them the story of like, well, why didn't the Eagles come back strong in 2023, Grandpa, after they just fell short against Patrick Mahomes in 2022? You've shown me that game how many times? How come they didn't repeat after they were so dominant against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in 24? How come they didn't manage to repeat? And I will have to tell them about the bros. I'm going to have to tell them about elbows, like the Bash Brothers.
Arm bars.
I'm going to have to tell them about the arm bars.
So
I'm going to have to tell them about Sirianni and Patullo and how they drove this thing into a ditch and how so many things of their relationship took this train right off the tracks.
The reason why I'm worried about you is because you're worried about teaching your grandkid like 10, 15, I don't know how many years from now. I don't know what Liv's plans are.
Yeah, I hope it's give me 10.
All right. I'm worried about your mental health, but then I'm also worried about we had Eagles fans 2 days after the season ended saying, I'm over it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
We're good.
So you think which do you two find, and all you and Connor too, what do you find more troubling?
So I lean more towards you. I find letting people off the hook more troubling, kind of like the Sixers thing. Like, first round pick, luxury tax, billionaire. Like I lean toward holding people accountable, so I'm more towards you. But this season, like to me, the feeling that you have about this Eagles team is how I feel about the 2023 Phillies.
Okay.
Like I feel more about the 2023 Phillies.
Right.
Completely dropping a ball.
Right there. Had it. Right there.
More so than how you feel about
Game
this
6,
current-
Game 7 at home is the biggest disaster we've had.
I feel more about the Sixers-Hawks series than this Eagles team. Because that could have been, like,
Or
there
the
was no
Celtics series.
excuse for losing.
Or the Toronto series, even
No.
though that was more Kawhi, but still an opportunity.
I don't think about the Toronto series. That was a really tough. That team won it all.
Yeah, but I think about the miracle shot.
You know, I
one
got you,
bounce,
but that was a miracle
know?
shot. Like Atlanta, that you blew an 18 and
Yes.
27 point in two
Against
in
the
two different
Celtics,
games.
you had 2 chances.
I
Right.
get what you're saying.
Take care of that team.
My point is there's a lot of places my mind goes before this Eagles team.
But are we right to do that? Because John's not wrong. Like, they gave a guy that did not deserve a job, an important job.
And then by doubling down on Sirianni, doubling down on his support for him,
You lose Statland.
alienates Statland during the year,
Right.
which leads
So
to
he's
his
like,
departure.
oh, cool.
Let's get some reaction on that. 610-632-0975. We'll check the text line. YouTube calls next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Eagles hire former Pack. my mind.
All right, coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, we have Keith Pompey joining us at 9:05 to talk about the Sixers trade of Jared McCain and then the nothing afterward. But before we get to Keith, we'll have like 5 minutes to start the segment. Connor just told me there is somebody out there that covers the NBA that said this was the best move possible for the Sixers. I can't wait to hear that. I
can't wait to hear this.
I need the explanation. Best thing possible. All right, we'll get that coming up at 9 o'clock. Connor, give us some text messages because it really is amazing that John will, to his deathbed, think about this 2025 Eagles season.
And even though I didn't think as the season went on that they were going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't feel the same way as you do.
I was sick, though, division week playoff weekend. I was sick to my stomach watching and saying,
yeah, you see the 49ers lose 41-6.
Are you kidding me? There's no way the Eagles should have missed that weekend.
Right, and I completely agree with you. But, like, the Phillies D-backs, like, they should have won that series, gone to the World Series, and beaten that Rangers team, which they didn't, which is why they probably signed Adolis Garcia years later because they're like, we need that guy. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, so VT Ron checks in on that conversation we were just having. Says, hey, guys, Nick and Kevin have taken this giant organization into the gutter. It's almost was a power play between the two, and to lose a great offensive line coach like Stoutland because of their shenanigans hurt me to the core. And, yes, I have to explain it to my grandson because that did not work out.
My man, Ronnie.
So he's got a grandson.
Look, I'm not ready to say the Eagles are
this
dead.
was it, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to see it play out, and Sean Mannion could be the next greatest offensive mind in the history of football.
And I'm excited for Mannion, by the way. And one thing was pointed out to me, though, is Mannion Stoutland was never going to work with what Mannion's running game approach is, just like Mike McDaniel or otherwise.
Yeah.
So if it was going to be Mannion,
no, to me, my concern is more
Stoutland would have had to change everything that he's about.
My concern is more the Sirianni factor that in the middle of the season, he pushed a extremely respected person to the side, much like Chip did to Howie many years ago. It was basically like, all right, Jeff, this isn't working. Go over there. Me and KP got this.
We got this.
Me and Patullo got this. You know, you have a lot of time, but so does KP. He's been in the league for 18 years, damn it.
Yeah, let's lean on him. Kevin Patullo.
That's what bothers me the most. It's not that Jeff Stoutland is gone because of maybe a clashing of ideas with Sean Mannion. It's the fact that the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles kind of got this avalanche going.
Yeah.
And we don't know the after effect, the aftershock of Stoutland leaving. Does that lead to Lane Johnson retiring? Does that lead to a room? I said this yesterday to Andrew DeCecco, and we'll talk about it now. We've all had a boss at some point in our life where we're like, I don't really believe their plan. And so Jeff Stoutland was a whatever he says we're going to do guy.
It's a known commodity with the track record.
They bring in some like 35-year-old kid.
Yeah, Lane Johnson's like, I'm 35.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like they probably go, well.
I would think for those guys, and I don't want to speak for them, but they're obviously professionals.
Absolutely.
And they might be a wait and see type of vibe. But if you were leaning, there's a guy that has helped shape your career into a tremendous career, a Hall of Fame type career in some of their cases. And it would be hard to make that move. I mean, Mailata talked about it. He was just like, it was devastating.
He was
devastating.
He was in tears.
He credits his entire career to one human.
He does.
And in talking with like Barrett Brooks, Barrett's like, if you don't understand, like if you have a guy like that and you're on the cusp, it changes the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
Your entire life is changed because of a man and the way that he has molded you into the player. So that is no small. It's not to say these guys can't work with anybody that's new, but to your point, if you're on the fence and you see like your guy that's been there and this helped create you into the player that you are, and he's gone.
By the way, there could be this is how we've been doing it, and then the new people go,
great.
Well, that's not how we're doing it anymore, and then maybe that causes a ruffle. I don't know.
Because or vice versa.
Sure.
This is how we do it. Oh, okay, well, that looks pretty good. I do it very similarly. What do you guys think?
Cousin Ryan asks on text, he has the personal text line. He says, if Doug Peterson certainly got the boot for less,
Well, Doug Peterson got one of the boots was
he wouldn't make changes to his
Right.
coaching staff and everything like that. But Doug Peterson didn't do the damage to the organization the way that Nick Sirianni.
he didn't have that kind of control. I would say Chip Kelly had that kind of control.
Yeah, Chip
But
Kelly.
is Nick Sirianni, do you believe Nick Sirianni? I believe Nick Sirianni has done damage to this.
I mean, it's hard to say because they won a Super Bowl last year. I don't know that this year was as detrimental for the future of I don't know if in 10 years we're going to look back
No, I don't
and they've
think
turned
so.
into the Cowboys.
No. But I mean, I'm wondering whether there is going to be what will be the reaction? Like, if next year is not a step forward, I told Connor the other day, I said I'll make him a wager of anything that he wants. It is 100% that Nick Sirianni's gone. If it's not a step forward, they don't win.
They almost
They have to move.
There was a thought about letting him. There was
Right.
people thought that he should have been let go this year.
It's 100% that they will move on. And then what are we going to be doing? Like looking for maybe a new offensive coordinator and a new coach that wants to. I mean, this is a mess, and I believe Nick Sirianni has created a lot of it.
Yeah, and hopefully it gets cleaned up real quick. What else we got?
All right. Waz in Philly checks in and says, personally, the reason I got over the Eagles season so quickly is because the warning signs were there. And I was just trying to ignore them as the season went on. Giants waxed us midseason, lost to the Cowboys, didn't bounce back against the Bears. So all the resentment for me towards this season being wasted was already expelled by December.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't shocked.
Yeah, I think
and
there's
maybe that's a big part.
That's a
of
really
it.
good. Whoever texted that in, I think that was a lot of the like. Oh well, by week 12 or 13, everybody thought, well, this team's not good.
When the Phillies lost Game 6 and Game 7, I was stunned.
That was the worst loss, just terrible loss.
When the Hawks came back and beat the Sixers, I still remember
Horrible.
staring at my TV and my wife being like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No."
I could actually like close my eyes and remember exactly when watching that at
Oh,
the end
yeah.
of the Hawks series.
Yeah.
I still think game
I'm like
one,
on set and I'm just like, that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
I think that Sunday afternoon game one loss may have been the most egregious, though. The one where they blew the 21-point lead or whatever it was.
There's
18
always
and 27. There was
It was
two-
terrible. 27
27.
27-point lead.
I mean, that may have been the most egregious.
All right, coming up next, Keith Pompey, 8:05. But before that, somebody is
9:05.
saying 9:05. Somebody's saying that this was like the perfect trade for the Sixers.
Yeah, it's great. Perfect trade, huh?
We'll find out next. Kincade
Wow.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers sell at the deadline. I'm Connor Thomas, and the trade deadline came and went without the Sixers adding a player to their roster. They followed up the trade of Jared McCain to Oklahoma City with a trade of Eric Gordon to Memphis for a 2032 second-round pick swap. These moves get them fully under the luxury tax, allowing them some more flexibility going forward. But with an open Eastern Conference, there are questions about, hey, couldn't this team have competed? Well, Daryl Morey will answer those questions coming up in a press conference he has today at noon. Sixers lost to the Lakers last night, 119-115. They're off tonight. Flyers fell in overtime to the Sens 2-1 last night. Did get a point out of it, but they hit the Olympic break at 25, 20, and 11. The Eagles hired one of Jeff Stoutland's replacements yesterday, bringing in Ryan Mahaffey as their run game coordinator and tight ends coach. Mahaffey was Green Bay's wide receivers coach last season. Tim McManus was on the airwaves yesterday and broke down what went on with the Stoutland move.
If I step back and look at it, the offense isn't working. Which coach, do I have the most faith in that he knows what he's doing? The first person I go to is Jeff Stoutland. So what ended up happening with him feeling marginalized is the exact opposite of what you needed in that moment.
We'll keep you updated on the Eagles news as the offseason continues. Keith Pompey joins us coming up next to break down the Sixers trade deadline. This update's brought to you by Uber Eats. Phil, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at Chickies and Pete's from now until February 15th. Spend $30 to get 6 wings free on the app. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Wednesday to the Oklahoma pick through the Houston Rockets, which will most likely be in the bottom.
It's going to be in the bottom 8 minimum.
And then the 3 second-round picks.
So now, how do you feel, Andrew?
Absolutely pissed off, sad, disappointed. Every emotion that's not happy is what I'm feeling this morning. If there was no secondary move made, I need Daryl Morey at his press conference today or whenever he comes on the Fanatic, because he will. I need Daryl Morey to truly explain whether or not there was another move possibly up until the trade deadline, and maybe they just didn't get it done, and he just overlooked the situation. He did not read the room appropriately, because there is no reason that you can tell me you traded Jared McCain just to acquire future assets that nobody's going to really get excited about, assets that, for all I know, turn into nothing, because late first-round picks don't always hit.
You just gave up a guy who you told us was more valuable than the guy you're going to draft this year, a guy that you told us was worth the 16th pick in the draft. And you just traded him for a bag of absolute filler and like the 26th, 27th, 28th pick in the draft. It doesn't make sense. And it's all about the money.
Now back to the show.
Well, you heard our voices. Amy Fadul also with us. It is a Friday with Fadul. Keith Pompey joining us coming up at 9:05. Cracker checks in on Twitter. Tired of the fake outrage by radio personalities like Andrew Salciunas and John Kincade. This will go down as a tremendous trade, in my opinion. To which I responded with,
Why?
Mr. Cracker,
Yeah. Hey, Cracker.
can you tell me what you like about the trade that makes you think it'll be tremendous? You could say, hey, and I said it 2 days ago, you trade a guy that fell out of your rotation for a first-round pick, 3 seconds, second-round picks are used in trades all the time. So maybe you're going to make a move before the deadline for an area more of need with this Sixers team. They didn't do it. It's why I got upset, because the season didn't hinge on Jared McCain. But, man, the vibes take a bit of a hit when you make that trade. To say this is going to go down as a tremendous trade, I need to know from Mr. Cracker what makes him say that.
Yeah, because I think you need to.
He wants to say you're doing fake outrage.
Well, how much value are you putting into that pick, which will be the Thunder or the Rockets pick? So right now, if that would be pick 26.
Yeah, that.
So how much?
Nothing wrong with picks 26. You didn't. It's better than pick 0, which is you did not have one.
Sure.
But that's when if you're evaluating a trade, you need to see how much value you put into that pick right
to say
there.
Tremendous already, I question. However, go ahead, Connor. We have, who is it?
John Hollinger, who covers the
I like
NBA.
John.
Yeah,
John's
senior
a good,
writer
John's
for The
a good
Athletic.
writer. Yeah.
So he had a big trade deadline breakdown article that just dropped this morning. And going through it, he has a bunch of breakdown of just the overall trade deadline. And then he has the best and the worst. And leading off, the first decision he talks about is what he calls the best decision to cut bait. This Philadelphia 76ers. OKC's trade for Jared McCain was shrewd. With a huge tax bill coming, they got to get under the cap. Talks about potentially replacing Isaiah Joe's role as designated Sixers cast-off shooter. But he brings up that the Sixers doing this allows them to, he says, Philly made the right choice. McCain's value was never going to be higher as a Sixer because he was the fourth guy behind Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Quentin Grimes. And even if Grimes left as a free agent, he'd always be stuck behind the other two. Additionally, the league has frowned in general on smallish combo guards, offensive players. Acquiring a late first rounder and 3 good seconds for McCain is a pretty solid return in that light. As long as he was in Philly, his trade value was only going to decline.
I would say to John, and I love John's stuff. He's a really, really good writer. That is exactly counter to what everyone that covers the salary cap talks about in off seasons. There are so many more teams at the table for talents.
I think
because they have the freedom to add, whereas only good teams are shopping at the trade deadline.
I think that I agree with a lot of what John said there. I think if you asked me at the beginning of the year who would be somebody who would be traded, it was going to be Jared McCain because of the way VJ Edgecombe played, because of the way that the East is, the undersized. Jared McCain actually has a negative wingspan, which is remarkable.
What does that mean?
So,
I don't even know what
so
that
like Kelly
term
Oubre is 6'9". He has a 7'2" wingspan.
Right.
Oh, okay. So it means
Jared
he has
McCain
less
is
of a
6'2", and he has a 6'1" and 3/4 wingspan.
Okay.
So a 6'2" wingspan for a 6'2" player. He does get lost a little bit on the defense. I think you've seen that.
He's not a good defensive player. No.
It doesn't mean he can't work on that. But I think when John talked about it's never going to be higher, the more he doesn't play because he can't get in that rotation because he's expendable for whatever reason, the less his value would be. So in the offseason of an entire season of basically getting these spot minutes, I think that is probably where he's going to come up with that.
It feels very process-ish, though.
Yes.
We're never going to have.
Can't say that
we're
word.
Never gonna,
No,
this,
but it does feel
this
like
person will never have higher value. So we are going to trade this person.
If you say the word ramp, I'm
but
leaving.
It's very process-ish. Like, oh, we have to trade him because his value will never be higher.
I mean, you had to trade somebody in order to do whatever it is they wanted to do, and I think that was
Which
the
was save
option
money.
for them.
Save money.
I can't.
And gets assets. I mean, it does feel
They
like
have
that.
to
Future
trade,
flexibility.
and
baby.
again,
I can't wait.
Here's what I would say to John Hollinger, too, is that you traded a guy that you drafted at 16 for a draft pick that you can do all the combination of things. A guy at 26th picks in the draft, and I want to thank Mel for sharing the chart. Okay. A 26th pick in the last 20 drafts has around a 41% less chance to have a 6-year NBA career as a starter.
It's a lot of numbers.
I know,
What do you mean as a starter?
As a start, if you draft someone at 16,
Right.
their chance to be a 6-year starter in the NBA, a person drafted at 26 has a 41% less chance
To be a starter.
starter for 6 years in the NBA.
I mean,
So you're not getting, most likely, you're not getting a starter.
they don't need a starter at guard.
Well, no, with the person you're getting in the draft, they hopefully are drafting us. With a first-round pick, aren't you trying to draft a starter most times?
Trying to draft somebody that's going to help you immediately.
Yeah.
Somebody on our YouTube chat, McCain, the T-Rex of the Sixers.
Oh, no.
It's not that bad. I just merely pointed that out when you watch him
That's a
defensively.
good one.
I know.
Lemmy, that was a good one.
I did not even. That is
I
really
shouldn't have
good.
even said
All
it.
right,
That is
Jordan-
great. Now
Jordan
people are going to be
is-
doing that.
I'm big. Yeah, it's just that his wingspan. Most NBA players have a longer wingspan than they are tall. That's how it works. That's why they're so good at the
Look at
NBA.
Amy's wingspan.
I have a very large wingspan.
You really do have a
wingspan. Yeah.
large
And technically now he's the T-Rex of the Thunder.
Ah, see.
Yeah, that's true.
I wait until he just goes off at the Thunder. Did you mention Isaiah Joe? That
Yep.
was like, come on.
Yeah, and that was didn't need to move him. Whatever. We'll talk about it. Joining us now. Doing a tremendous job.
What's
as
his
always,
wingspan?
Covering the Sixers for the Inquirer. Always great with this time. Our man, Keith Pompey. Keith, good morning.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hi, Keith. What's
Keith.
your wingspan?
Yeah, what's your wingspan? Keith, the trade of Jared McCain, I want your perspective on it before you tell me why the Sixers did it. Your thoughts personally on trading Jared McCain for the first-round pick, 3 seconds, and then doing nothing afterward.
Yeah, I was a little shocked. I felt like, me personally, I felt like Jared McCain is a guy who, he has a lot of value, but he has a lot of value for you, being as though, he's a second-year player. He's not making, a lot of money by NBA standards. And I also looked at him as someone, just in case Quentin Grimes leaves, he's going to be available and be here. And then the another thing is, I know that Jared McCain has some struggles, but my daughter tore her ACL, and she's a year out. And they say, yeah, you return around that time, you do what you have to do, but you don't really get back to where you are until maybe 5 to 6 months later. With that being said, I feel like I know Jared is going through some struggles, inconsistency, but I felt like he would get back to being the player that people felt he could be in a year or two. So I feel like they gave up on him too quick.
Do you believe there would have been more suitors at the table for his services potentially in a trade if they had waited till the offseason, or do you think this is the time when they probably could have gotten the most for Jared McCain?
That's a great question because, right now, let's think about it. Like if he was out of the rotation, I'm pretty sure people would probably say, he's out of the rotation. Maybe we're not going to give you what it is. But I do think when people do research, it's one of those things where, they may feel the same way I do. Now, I will say this. There are some people in the league who I talk to, certain scouts, who some people love Jared McCain. Other ones said he doesn't do enough for them. They says, yeah, we know that when he's hot. But they look at his size and they say that he's smaller and you got to hide him on the defensive end. And they feel like, he's not worth it. So, again, I guess it's up to the person, whoever is trying to trade for him, to see, like, what his value is now. But to me, I look at it, I'm not looking at Jared McCain as being a star player, meaning you got Tyrese Maxey, you got VJ Edgecombe, but you always need someone who can come off the bench and do certain things. And I felt like you got to fill out a roster. And I felt like Jared, because let's face it, y'all, the 76ers last summer, they talked about they wanted to be like the Oklahoma City Thunder. They wanted to be like the Indiana Pacers, teams that threw out 4 guards. They had a rotation of 4 guards who could play. And now they're down to 3, So to me, I just felt like with this new wave of basketball, Jared McCain would have remained a perfect fit with the Sixers, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's always that danger, Keith, when you're thinking about it. They have 3 viable guards that they have in the rotation. They're great players. They play a lot of minutes. But to your point, beyond that, what happens? Don't you want to try to give? What do you think with this going forward? I mean, you would think they're going to try to spell Maxey a little bit. 40 minutes, 38 to 40 minutes every single game is a lot of minutes. He's leading the league in those. And now that you don't have anybody back there, is that something you have to address now in the aforementioned buyout market that Andrew loves so much?
I mean, yeah, you're going to have to. When you think about it, because right now, we're talking about a lot of minutes. We're talking other things, and then when we look at McCain, he's not a true point guard, but he did a pretty good job of directing the offense, right? And I do think that this is an area that they're going to have to address, right? You are and not only let's just think about security purposes. If Tyrese Maxey is gassed, or if let's just say if somebody sprains an ankle, and knock on wood, I hope it doesn't happen. But then you mean to tell me the only 2 guys that you have are, let's say Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, or you take VJ out and pick Quentin Grimes. Now, I do know that Kelly Oubre, he was a 2 guard when he came to the Sixers, but he started right next to Maxey. Paul George was a 2 guard over there with the Clippers. So you can argue and say, look, we do have some guards here. However, though, I do feel like the thing that everybody has different roles, and I felt like the role that that Jared had was vital. Now, again, Jared was struggling. He was struggling a little bit, but at the same time, with that injury, you come back a year, and it takes you typically sometimes 5 to 6 months after that for you to get back to being the player you were. And before his injury, he was en route to becoming the Rookie of the Year.
Inquirer's Keith Pompey joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas Friday with Fadul. Amy with us as well. Keith, last week, Joel Embiid straight up called out the organization, saying, I feel like the last couple of years we've been making trades to duck the tax. I think he made his beliefs known, his feelings known. So what is the trickle-down effect of this trade through the locker room?
I think, so when you listen to Tyrese Maxey's comments, and he's talking about, this one hurts, right? And you see all the tributes that guys gave to McCain, on Instagram. I mean, I haven't seen that before. Normally they say, yeah, we miss this guy, but it's a business. They try to keep it public. So to me, it's one of those things where I felt like this one hurt a little bit for the guys, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing that I think the real saving grace that the 76ers has is that, and I get it, they got rid of him. But the fact that they were able to get below the luxury tax, partly because of Paul George's contract, his suspension, losing that money, and then they could do that. I feel like the Sixers, did it with minimum salary, so to speak. Not minimum. Jared's not making a minimum salary, but you know what I mean. They didn't go out and get rid of Drummond. They didn't get rid of Kelly Oubre. They didn't get rid of or try to trade Quentin Grimes. So to me, it takes like a little bit softer blow. The problem is that when you look at it, if you can't get rid of those guys, you're looking around the room and who's next, and it's Jared. And the fact that, Jared wasn't constantly in the rotation like these other guys, like a Grimes or like a Oubre, I think that you can basically say, well, you know what? His value was high. We didn't know if he was going to really be a player for us moving forward. We really believe in Quentin. So you can get around with that. But I feel like if they would have got rid of, if Paul George wasn't suspended and they got rid of Kelly Oubre, then it would be one of those things where people are like, yo, here we go.
Yeah. But Keith, why did they have to get under the tax?
Well, because it's like you don't. I guess the owner wants to save money, right?
And that's what pisses everybody off.
You got to pay that repeat effect. Yeah.
That's what makes everybody angry. Like, that's the thing. Like, I get it. For 2 weeks now, we've been talking about how Kelly Oubre could be traded or Andre Drummond could be traded to get under the tax. Oh, wait, we only had to move on from McCain to get under the tax. Why do you have to get under the tax?
You're right. I can't argue that, man. I can't argue that. And, it's one of those things where I guess, people don't feel sorry for you when you say you want to get under a tax. You know what I mean? Just because of, you're a billionaire or because of a lot of other things. And, I know they talk about the salary cap, but to me, it's one of those things, and I guess people don't want to hear this or they don't want to hear this, but when you have a fan base, the fan base is looking at it like, the 2001 team was here. That was the last team that we had that made it out of the second round, right? And we're honoring this squad. And another year, we're coming out here, and during the trade deadline, we're talking about getting under the tax. Now, in the past, I will say that it was a little camouflage. Like, they would bring these guys in, and everybody would say, oh, this guy is a great player. And then next thing you know, they didn't want to re-sign him, right? They had expiring contracts. This year, they just said, hey, forget it. We just trying to get under, and we're going to get draft picks. So, you know what I mean? So it's different, but you are right. It's one of those things where sometimes fans look at it, that's a you problem. That's not our problem. Like, what we want to do is we want to root for a team that Joel Embiid is playing right now the best basketball that he's played in a while. Maxey is an all-star starter. The team has to steal it in the draft and VJ Edgecombe. We got two gritty power forwards in not Quentin Grimes, and Don Barlow and Jabari Walker. And we got a team, and they love each other. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, y'all. In the past, it was no secret that the 76ers had chemistry issues in the past. You don't see that anymore. These guys really love each other. And to break it up, fans get a little upset because they thinking like this team is special and it has a chance. Like, they were the most dangerous team in the NBA. Not the best team, but the most dangerous, meaning that they could beat anyone on any given night. And so the fans are a little disappointed by it.
Keith, can I ask you a real quick question here? Did Daryl Morey just not give, though, Grimes the keys to the kingdom? Because he's got him over a barrel now. After this move, because doesn't Grimes have him right where he wants him as far as – because they can't let him walk out the door and he can get exactly the deal that he wants, right?
Nah, I don't think
No?
I don't think he has him over a barrel, because here's my thing. We already know what Quentin Grimes wants. And, there's been things in the past where you thought the 76ers were going to pay people and they didn't.
Okay. All right. Good.
So I don't think he has them over a barrel. Good. I don't. I just think that they're going to make a decision that's best for them.
Okay. Appreciate you.
All right, Keith. We appreciate the time, man. Keep up the great work. Hopefully you'll get back on a regular sleep schedule soon. This West Coast trip got to end, man. We appreciate the time.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having me.
There's Keith Pompey. I mean, look, I had to follow up. Like,
no, you have to.
It was to get onto the Why? Why?
Because that's what he wanted.
I'm sorry that Mr. Billionaire wants to save some money.
And again, one home playoff gate in the NBA would cover that. One home playoff gate on average, major markets, top 10 television markets, would more than generate enough revenue to cover that tax. So if you go to the second round, you make your team better, that's all covered.
Now, I know I'm not trying to do the defend the billionaire thing, but
Yes,
there
you are.
I'm not.
Do it.
I'm not.
Sounds like
but
it.
there are some luxury tax numbers around the NBA that I think we need for perspective on this conversation. A lot of people don't look at the tax because the first apron, second apron thing is all Greek to all of us. But
You going to dumb it down for
Did you
everyone
study
next?
Greek?
I'm not going to dumb it down. I'm just going to tell you where other teams are at. I did not study Greek. I am Greek.
All right, we
Can't
will
speak a lick of it.
We'll figure out.
Kyriakis is your
We'll figure out how
maiden name.
Connor defends Mr. Billionaire owner coming up next. Also, we got to do our pick segment. Last one of the year.
Last one.
My God.
And you need to hold off Connor for the championship.
Easy work. Do that next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. What's up, guys? It's Andrew. Valentine's Day is almost here. I know you just went through the holiday season, all kinds of gifts and holiday parties, and a lot of money was spent. And then all of a sudden you remember, oh, my God, less than 2 months later, I have another big one. Valentine's Day coming up in 8 days. If you've been dragging your feet, here's my advice. Go to Family and Company Jewelers, because you are guaranteed to walk out with something that will make you look like an all-star this year, including the huge selection of 24-karat gold-dipped roses. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. I went to the showroom, checked it out. All kinds of great things for both men and women. All kinds of great gifts that you can get for Valentine's Day, from these beautiful, diamond pendants and earrings, engagement rings. If you are going to pop the question, that's where I went for my engagement ring. It's where I went for the wedding bands, first anniversary gift, first Mother's Day gift. Family Company Jewelers has been my one-stop shop for all these big gifts. But Valentine's Day, 24-karat gold roses. Just mention this ad. You can use code word Andrew or Fanatic online at checkout, and you receive a 10% off discount on any gold dip rose. A real rose dipped in 24-karat gold, and they have almost every color imaginable to choose from. I saw all that they had in stock. They're beautiful. You can buy one for every special occasion. You can buy one each year, which is something that I did for a stretch because I built the bouquet of gold dip roses for my beautiful wife. Of course, they have tons of other gifts like diamond necklaces, diamond studs, gold bracelets, you name it. Options are endless. Bottom line is, the perfect Valentine's Day gift is right on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey. Or you can check them out online, FamilyJewelers.com. Family Company Jewelers, South Jersey's Valentine's Day destination.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
No major additions for the Sixers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the trade deadline came and went without the Sixers adding a player to their roster. They followed up the trade of Jared McCain to OKC by trading Eric Gordon to Memphis for a 2032 second-round pick swap and the rights to Justinian Jessup. These moves get them under the luxury tax, gives them a little bit more flexibility going forward. But for a team that seems to be in the mix in an open Eastern Conference, a lot of fans want to see them add. Daryl Morey will talk about the deadline at noon in a press conference. Sixers lost last night to the Lakers 119-115. They're off tonight. Flyers fell in overtime to the Senators 2-1 last night. They're now in the Olympic break. Their next game will be February 25th. Eagles hired one of Jeff Stoutland's replacements yesterday, bringing in Ryan Mahaffey as their run game coordinator and tight ends coach. Mahaffey was Green Bay's wide receivers coach last season. Tim McManus joined 97.5 The Fanatic yesterday. He talked about the Jeff Stoutland situation.
Sean Mannion gets hired, and he's going to come in and he's going to implement an offensive scheme that's more in the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay realm. Stoutland was offered a role, but it probably wouldn't have been with the same responsibilities.
We'll keep you updated as that situation continues to develop and see who the Eagles add as their next offensive line coach. This update's brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
That's coming up at 10 o'clock. Let's get back to more of Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The final hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, it is 9:31 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We're going to do our picks coming up in a little bit. But Connie Billions over there, defender of the billionaire.
He's a man of the people.
He's
the really rich people.
He's a man of the 1%. There.
He's a man. The 1%ers. No. 1%ers. You make like $428,000 a year. He's not a man of the 1%ers. He's a man of the billionaires.
All right, so here's what I want to get into. It's not a defense of Josh Harris. And it's not a billionaire
Don't couch
saving
it. Just
money.
get into it.
Yeah.
How many teams in the NBA do you think are below the luxury tax in totality? Just like totally below everything. No aprons or anything, just completely under it.
20.
22.
Okay.
There are only 8 teams that are over the luxury tax.
Okay. Who are they? Do you know?
There are only 3. Yeah, I have them right here for you.
Okay.
So it's Cleveland, the Knicks, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Timberwolves, the Clippers, and the Sacramento Kings.
So majority contenders, Kings are a disaster.
Yes.
Majority contenders.
And mostly markets that are Philadelphia is comparable to every one of those markets revenue-wise except New York. So the money that he makes here is better than probably every single one of the other markets except for the Knicks.
So go on.
Yeah, the only 3 teams that are in the first apron penalty are the Cavs, Knicks, and Warriors. My point is this, right? If you're a Sixers fan out there that's just saying, oh, Josh Harris trying to save money, I get it. I'm not here to tell you to like Josh Harris for being a billionaire and trying to cut dollars with this saving money. But when you look around the NBA and how many teams have looked at what 2 teams in the finals last year, Pacers, Thunder, both completely underneath the luxury tax, still are. What they did, the big trend in the NBA is every team trying to cut below this tax.
But he saved $8 million. That's all. That's the bottom line. It doesn't like he at one point he told his basketball people, save me $8 million.
Okay, so I'll ask you this. Are the Sixers one of the top 8 teams in the NBA right now?
They absolutely could
as
be.
Keith Pompey said, and I think he's
that
right.
range.
Yeah, they could
they're
play
not,
in the
They're not the
conference.
best team, but they're most dangerous team in the Eastern
They're a
Conference.
team that people are like, I might
I'd
not
be
want to face.
afraid to play them.
Could
Joel
the
Embiid's
Sixers
averaging 30 points right now, for Pete's sake.
Could the Sixers win a first-round playoff series is the question you're asking, Connor. Yes. That's top 8 teams. Yes.
Okay.
They could win a first-round You don't believe they could?
No, I do. They can. I think they can. But, like, what I'm looking at is the teams that are even just regular luxury tax. Like, these are teams that are contending teams, and I don't know that the Sixers view themselves as contenders. And when the large majority of teams in the NBA are doing exactly what the Sixers owner is, it's hard for me to sit here and be like, oh, he's just being
How many of those teams made moves this week to get under?
That's what I was about to
Because
those teams.
There were 14 teams that were over the luxury tax. And now I think there's 7 that are under.
But which of those teams were contenders?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You just
And
asked me the question.
And
Let's
again,
go.
you don't have to be a contender
The
to be a
Celtics
top
started
8
doing
team.
that last year because of the apron. They got rid of Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis because they're getting ahead of things because
And they look great, by the way.
Well, yeah, but they did things to get ahead of things. There are teams like the Phoenix Suns that did it, and it's like, all right,
they're not in the running.
Like there are teams that are
they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
the West is a little ridiculous.
But are you thinking that they're gonna?
No.
Like there are teams.
We say that and Sixers play them.
Right. I got you.
Exactly.
There are teams that did it. I understand why they would do it because, the Sixers when they tanked were doing things to get under things, like or hit floors.
They had to hit the floor.
The fact that this was marching orders this week disgusts me.
Yeah.
Especially when one home playoff game would easily cover this in extra.
Yeah, I'm just saying there are a handful of other teams in the NBA that are also doing this. This is not just the Sixers are going against the grain. Right there. The other teams, large majority, are handling this the same way the Sixers are.
Yeah, and all the billionaires are coming together saying, let's do this.
They're looking at the tax penalties and saying this is
$8 million.
Right.
Yes.
Oh,
$8 million.
okay.
Which is $8 for us.
It's like it's like 300. It's like $380.
But the standard is the competition. You're never going to sell people on billionaire saving $8 million.
The competition is is a line item of $8 million for Josh Harris, which I promise you he wouldn't give a flip spending on his Commanders. He's not having a problem spending $8 million extra on the Commanders. If they said to him, hey, Josh, we want to add something to the Commanders' new stadium. We need you to spend $8 million more to have this to spruce up that stadium. That money is spent in a second.
Yeah, Clippers,
his
Lakers,
love is there.
Cavs,
I'm trying to think
and
who's-
Knicks all lowered their tax number this year at the deadline.
Celtics lowered theirs as well.
I just Googled rich people with the last name Thomas. So are you related to Dave Thomas, who was the
Wendy's
founder
I'm
of
not.
Wendy's?
And Wendy was his daughter.
Okay, I mean, if we're going to just...
Are you related to Jim Thomas, who is an LA-based real estate developer and former owner of the Sacramento Kings?
This is what I get for looking up numbers.
There you go.
I'm just saying, you're siding with. There's somebody you're related to that's a billionaire.
This is what I get for trying to make a salient argument.
And because he wants to keep humble, he stays here with us.
He does.
Right.
He's hiding out.
Just like Jordan Schultz.
Well, wait, Jordan Schultz.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Schultz comes on our show, gets up in the morning, he's West Coast time.
Love it.
Comes on our show. He is honestly the heir to a multi-billion-dollar fortune.
Yeah.
And he works his backside
So that's what
off.
Connor does. Connor, you're Jordan Schultz of
He
97.5.
He works his backside off as a journalist because Dad said, hey, you're going to work. I love it.
All right, hit us with some football music, Connor. It's been 2 weeks because they don't play in between the championship weekend and Super Bowl except for that fake sport that they do.
Yeah. I got the title.
So, Johnny, congratulations. You are
Thank
the
you.
champion.
I'm 50-34. Andrew's 44-40, 52% on the season. And Connor is 41-43, 3 games back of Andrew at 49%. So we need Andrew's picks first, so that way he couldn't pick something to freeze Connor out and win the championship just by picking against him. So
Well, I'm
Andrew,
not doing the coin toss.
floor is yours.
I know that's one of Connor's picks, right? Is that an official
Yes.
pick?
Oh, of course it is.
All right.
It's an official guarantee.
Kenneth Walker with the injury to Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker, the guy in the backfield for Seattle. His over-under rushing yards, 72.5. I will take the over for Kenneth Walker and his rushing yards.
Okay.
Seattle, -1.5 first quarter, +110. Wow.
Oh.
I like the Seahawks to have at least a 2-point lead at the end of the first quarter. It's a risk because what if nobody scores in the first quarter? Then I lose. But Seattle -1.5 first quarter, +110. Seattle, the entire game, -4.5. I think they win the Super Bowl. And lastly, Stephon Diggs. His over-under for receptions is 4.5. I will take the over at -118. And then the story will come out after he
Over,
comes back.
which is what?
4.5.
Over 4.5.
4.5.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden the story will come back magically after the Super Bowl is over,
Yeah.
which I found very just
It's weird that it went away.
just disappeared.
Yeah.
It'll come back. All right, go ahead, Connor.
All right, so we're going to start off with Seattle -4.5. I may actually, when I make that wager, bet that up.
Okay.
I mean,
So in other words, you've just you've just been eliminated.
that's fine. I'm
There you
trying
go.
to make
That's it.
picks to win.
I believe you said to me off air, where were we? We were out and about. You said you would go like 10.
Oh.
Yeah,
You were a little chesty that
I kind
day.
of said last night.
You could
that
have adjusted the line
talking
to
with
try to
some
stay
buddies,
alive.
I may adjust it up to even more than 10. I think this is a blowout brewing.
Wow.
Well, then you can change that line and stay in the race.
Sure, let's put it to 10.5.
How about,
Why
how
not?
about
Let's
9.5?
have some fun.
How about making 9.5?
Okay, I'll take
All right,
9.5. then.
Okay, Seattle -9.5.
We're going to go with Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions.
All
He's
right.
been a big-time target for Drake May this year, and Seattle allows targets. Last time he faced him, he had like 8 receptions, I believe. Ramondre Stevenson, anytime touchdown scorer. You can get that at plus money, which I think is a really good bet. The Patriots have really been using him. And the official coin toss pick, I have hit it 10 of the last 11 years. And this year...
What was the Stevenson number, by the way? I'm sorry.
Plus like 140.
No.
something.
The what you bet.
Anytime touchdown score.
Okay. All right.
The pick is tails. It will be tails for the second straight year. It came to me in a dream over the weekend. Could have been a fever dream because I was a little sick, but
You go
check,
tails.
Check my record. I put all these picks out on social for the coin toss. I've been crushing it.
All right. Well, then there it is. 'Cause
I love how
you haven't crushed it all season, so this would be good if
I
you
love how
crushed
you
it this
act
week.
like you have like analysis on the
I do. Tell me how I hit it 10 of the last 11 times.
I have
you
luck-
watched me do
luck.
it last year.
50-50.
Well, it's a 50-50 chance.
Okay, that's better than
All right.
50-50.
All right, I'll give you a good chance. I'll give you the 60-40. just by picks that actually have strategy behind them. That are the my picks for the year. I'm going to give you Ramondre Stevenson, too. I'm also going to give you his over 74.5 total yards for the game.
All right.
I will take that bet. Good analysis on your part there, Connor, though I do like him, but I didn't want to go with the touchdown. I'll go with the Sam Darnold over the half interception. I will bet for him to have an interception in the game.
Whoa. You're Mr. Well, what's the payout? I looked at that earlier. Isn't it like minus 160?
Is it a minus 160? Because I'll give you something else. I've already clinched the title, so I'll do whatever you want.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
I'll give you whatever you want.
You need to have better odds than that.
Earlier,
I've already won.
earlier
I've
this
already
year,
won.
he gave
I've
me.
already won.
If you had like a
I've already won.
minus 110, that wasn't a good bet.
I've already
so
won.
much crap.
I've already won.
It's minus 130 on my sports.
I've already won. Well, I'll find you another
pick.
pick. Over 45.5 for the game. I'm not going under. The under is the popular pick. I will go the over 45.5, and I will take the Pats plus 4.5 in the game. They've won 16 of 17. They're 9-0 on the road this year, and I just think that it'll be a closer game than people suspect.
Yeah, they played the deaf school this year too.
So what was that?
Did they play?
Oh, I should. There you go. So there it is, Connor. There you go.
All right.
See if you can make a comeback there.
I mean, I
Seahawks
think it's a
are-
little late.
Seahawks
Yeah.
are 8-1 on the road, by the way. Patriots
Good.
8-0. Seahawks 8-1.
There you go.
Seahawks are the road team technically.
They're both
They're
road
both
teams.
road teams in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I checked who makes the coin toss pick.
Oh my God.
There
Did my
you go.
research.
Oh,
Your
Mr. Coin
research.
Toss.
You're insane.
You don't know, Amy. This is my Super Bowl.
You
The
know
coin
who,
toss
you know
is my
who he
Super
is?
Bowl.
Oh, I'm really good at roulette, bro. Come with me to the casinos.
Now, this is a value pick guy.
Yeah,
This is the NCAA tournament.
Bro.
I've got the dark horse.
bro. Trust me,
win.
man.
This is the
record
guy.
Maybe you've heard of this team.
Connor is the guy in the office who gives you his score, where he is in the standings after the first round of the NCAA tournament pool.
I win. If you don't believe me, don't
He
take
was,
it.
he was talking a lot of smack throughout the year about our picks. And
Yeah, well, third for the second consecutive year
ooh,
for Connor. But it's all right.
ooh.
He can still catch you.
Are you the Miami Marlins?
I went like 60% last year.
Still
He
third.
did do well last year, but he was third.
Still third.
Coming up next, Ask
Sorry.
Me Amy thing. If you have not done it yet, send in text messages. YouTube, you as well. Text line 610-632-0975. You have a question for Amy Fadul. Anything. Doesn't have to be basketball. Doesn't have to be sports. Any questions for Amy, text them in now, 610-632-0975. We have a brand new open, Amy.
I'm excited.
That means you officially made it. We do that next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, you just heard our picks. I just gave mine to Johnny the K, who puts it into his handy-dandy iPad. Kenneth Walker, over 72.5 rushing yards. Seattle minus 1.5 in the first quarter. Seattle minus 4.5 in the game. Stephon Diggs over 4.5 receptions. Now, today on FanDuel, they're doing the daily profit boost. And today they're doing the first quarter markets. So one of my picks is Seattle minus 1.5 in the first quarter. That's already at plus 110. Now you add a 30% profit boost. That sounds pretty nice. All you got to do is opt in each day, place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-trivial profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Phillies will be Fanatic.
9:48 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on what is a football Friday for one last week.
The last hurrah.
And not for the Philadelphia Eagles. Football Fridays on The Fanatic, presented to us by our friends at Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Hey, shout out to you, Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Thank you so much for being a part of The Fanatic, being a part of Unfiltered with Bill Colarulo. I know he got a nice ride from there, so shout out to you. Driving to great deals at the winter sales event at Norristown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and get wicked good deals all month long on a Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram. Visit NorristownChryslerDodge.com. I went to the auto show with my son yesterday. Cars are cool, especially when they make a Lightning McQueen real life car. And my son was
so cool.
Just
Seen that.
going
Awesome.
nuts. Just going nuts yesterday. It was a good time.
I ask all three of you. Connor, real quick, everybody get a guess in. The most common prop bet to have hit this century. There have been 25 Super Bowls this century. The most common prop bet, it does not involve obviously a specific player, that has hit this century.
Coin toss.
Nope.
Yeah, I guessed anthem length.
And it is not anthem length.
Gatorade color.
No. Interesting. First quarter under.
Oh, well, how about that?
Oh.
So take it to if you are so inclined. The first quarter under has been the most common prop bet to hit.
That's
about-
lame. I
what
like
about
that into
Central?
fun ones with the colors.
What about Seattle minus 1.5 in the first quarter? Because that's one of my
No,
official picks.
I think that could very well work. I got 6-3 in a one of the box pools.
Oh, that's nice.
6-3.
Oh, yeah.
Those are two good numbers.
6-3 is not bad. We got 6-3.
At least there's numbers that have a good chance of hitting.
We got
Like,
6-3. I'm sorry. Christina got.
you love when you
6-3.
see like an 8, and I'm like, ugh.
Christina got
Tough one.
6-3. I got 1-3.
All right.
1-3's not
not bad.
terrible.
I'd rather 6-3.
Yeah.
For
rather
Ruston
6-3.
High School. So hopefully the Ruston High School numbers come through for me.
By the way,
I haven't checked my block ball.
There you go.
3.
Andrew Ellis wondering if I'm going to get rid of my busted Civic now that I went to the auto show. No, I only hit 150,000 on it today
Now this is
Nicely
great.
done.
And I hit 20 this morning.
because I lived in Manayunk for 6 years, 2.5 miles,
exactly.
2.5 miles away from here. So I'm riding that car for hopefully another 3 or 4 years. Hondas, by the way, they drive pretty well. All right, time now for the newly introduced Ask Me Anything.
Now it's time for
What else you need to know?
Ask Me Anything.
Would you like to know more?
No, ask me anything.
All right, I have two quick ones on YouTube before we get to the text line. The old question is a hot dog sandwich. That's from Tommy John. Hot dog's a hot dog, right?
Hot dog's a hot dog.
Yeah.
It's not a sandwich. I understand the principle of the bread and the substance in the middle, but no, it's a hot dog.
D
It's its own thing.
Flyers. This is a big debate. I think on the show it's come up. Do you back into your parking spot?
Oh, we have talked about that. Something's gone wrong if I'm backing into my parking spot.
I'm a pro back-in guy.
I'm throwing
I
back
don't,
in.
I don't know why I'm doing that extra. Do I need to leave quickly? What is wrong that I can't back it away?
One of the two most common ways you get into a car accident is people who are backing out of parking spots. Is how people
Or
get
when
it.
they're backing into the parking
Yeah,
spot.
skill
No,
issue is what
it's
I'm
people
hearing.
backing out of parking.
But it's a Wawa parking lot, though, so
Well,
it's different.
go to the one on.
Oh,
right
yeah,
down
well,
here.
no.
It's
that's
every Wawa
you just-
parking lot,
No,
stop
this
it.
one down here, you just got to blindfold and pray.
The one in
Jesus, take the
Broomall,
wheel.
too.
The one in
what do we-
Delaware Ave, though,
Yes.
too.
Oh my gosh.
What do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, so Karate Mark will lead us off, and he says, ask me anything. Beer. Do you take it in a bottle, can, or draft?
Tell me the right answer.
I don't usually drink beer. I'm more of a cider person, but I'm a draft.
Okay. If you were at Power Rank, draft, and then what comes next, bottle or can?
Bottle.
I'm
Yes,
a bottle guy, too.
that's the proper order.
Except for Miller Lite. Miller Lite of a can is my.
There's
I
no
don't know,
other
I like
proper
the
order
bottle.
than that.
I'm a Miller Lite can guy, but like
Yeah, I think a lot of people are
but
Miller
like
Lite fans.
Corona bottle.
Oh.
like there's a major difference between the
Craft
bottle
beers
and, the can.
and bottles are
Unless
that's
it's the
almost
can they
necessary.
got with the island on it with like the water and everything.
I
You ever
agree.
seen that?
Sometimes the craft beer had like a really nice can, like it's a different aluminum. Like I feel like
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
you know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah.
You're talking about?
I know what you're talking about. All
Yeah,
right, what else
high
you got?
quality stuff. All right, we got another check in here where this texter asks Amy, do you think the Flyers will win a Stanley Cup in the next 5 years?
No.
care to elaborate.
I mean,
Amy, drag it out a little bit for the Flyer fans. Give them a no.
listen, I enjoy the Flyers. I like watching the Flyers. I want them to do well, but there is nothing right now that looks like a team that's going to win the Stanley Cup. Win the Stanley Cup.
In the next 5 years.
Win the Stanley Cup. Let's look at the last couple of teams that have won the Stanley Cup.
Win the Stanley Cup.
I mean, I'm not. If you just said like, "Hey, we're going to maybe make it to the finals or something," I'd have been like hedged on it. But win it. It is a very hard thing to win.
So that's a no for Amy Fadul.
Yeah, that's my expanding on it.
That's pretty sure on that one.
I love this team. They need to have a lot more things go their way in order to win win it.
We have an important pick that you're going to have to make in a second, but we've gotten texts in the past, and I want to ask you about this because people are asking for an update on one Jimmy Lynam.
Yes. So Jim Lynam, you probably got to see he was back on Saturday, and then God bless him. He was here for Monday and Tuesday late night games. He flew back in from Florida. He's been in Florida enjoying the sunny weather and the golf down there. He's now back down there. He'll be back the 21st, I think, is his next game that he'll be back for. So he'll fly back for that. He goes down there during the wintertime for extended periods. Most of his family goes down there, brothers and sisters of the Lynam crew. They all get together down in Southwest Florida.
That's
so shout
awesome.
out to Coach. He is A-OK, still doing his thing, and obviously still very much part of our pre and post game coverage.
All right.
It sounds like he's better than okay. Playing golf
Of course
down in
he is.
Florida. Anyone who's asking, is Coach
In
good?
the heat.
Oh, he's good.
I mean, it's like 60 degrees down
In the
there.
heat.
All right, Amy, your big pick. This
I'll
from
take
Trevor
60.
and Percy. Patriots or Seahawks?
I mean, no one can say. I couldn't even inform the P of Patriots.
Good.
So Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle has been playing well. I like it for Sam Darnold. I'm going to go with that.
It's a nice story.
We play them next year here.
Great.
We do.
Seattle.
Yes, we do.
Also, I just needed more of a gap. Patriots can't be back already. I needed more of a downtime for them.
Yeah, what? I know. It's so funny.
They were just there.
Everybody was tired of the Chiefs, and then the year the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, the Patriots make the Super Bowl.
It's like we just saw you.
Cincinnati was our only off
If-
year.
A decade and a half.
If the Eagles are intent on making a deal with a certain player on their roster, I think a hungrier, disappointed Patriots team would be better for them.
Could be.
Just saying.
Could be.
Especially if Buffalo's hungry, too.
All right, everybody have a great weekend. Amy, thank you as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
We'll see
Ames.
you
See you
again on
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Everybody have a great, great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday with all your wings and parties and laughing at commercials and not really caring so much about the game itself. Middays with Marks comes your way next. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you Monday here on 97.5 The Fanatic.